Okay. Dan who? Dan double you. Let's go. Ow, wow, listen right now. Everybody knows the man that says pow. Start the show, gonna talk some toys. This is for the grown-up girls and boys making noise. Let's start the show. Talking Marvel Legends and the money that we blow. Honestly, look, there ain't no stopping me. Turtles and Joes too, let's do this properly. Need to buy more toys, don't tell my bank. Wasn't me, promise it was Hellfire Hank. Whole Who crew, look, they made me do it. If it lands in my door, then I best review it. Screw it, I don't usually boast, but I got Rich M, he's here to host. Raise a toast and raise some ducks. This isn't your average show, we're deluxe. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews, as always. My name is Dan W. Make sure you will follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who, and welcome to this very special, spontaneous Saturday live stream. That's a lot of S's, but I'm not the only Dan here. Let me introduce my special guest for today's stream. It is, of course, Mr. Dan Yoon. Dan, how are you doing, my friend?
Yo, what's up, Dan? Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm kind of nervy right now watching this game because your team is playing better, but no, thank you for having me, man. I apologize. I'm still battling a cold from after New York Comic Con, but
the flu, the con flu. That's a serious thing.
The con flu is real, man, and I thought I was gonna be good, but then one of our, Kyle from Super 7?
Yeah.
He was telling me like you should have gotten the vaccines like 21 days prior. Not like the day before, because like that's when like it actually like kicks in really like 100%, you know what I mean? And I was like, man, I should have listened to Kyle.
Don't ask me to pronounce Kyle's second name though. I don't have a clue.
Shout out to Kyle.
So let me explain to the people what's going on. So obviously,
yeah.
Of course, we're on Dan Who Live, so of course we will talk about toys at some point. But first things first, you will notice that Dan is wearing an Arsenal shirt, right? Look at that. Not happy about it. I wish I should have got the Chelsea shirt.
You're not even a fan. You don't have a kit on,
I've
man.
got fucking so many. I've got retro kits to show you that I was a Chelsea fan before we got the money. So anyway. So yeah, I'm a Chelsea fan, and Dan is an Arsenal fan. So right now in the UK, Chelsea and Arsenal are playing at Stamford Bridge. It's already kicked off. 5 minutes in, it's still 0-0. So of course, there you go. So yeah, I don't want to get in trouble from Sky, but I've got mine right there as well. So we are literally doing a watch along sort of Chelsea versus Arsenal. So me and Dan haven't really got the opportunity really to talk football. So we are going to spend some time just talking about football for a little bit, just some general chit chat, and then of course we will bring it back to toys and maybe take some questions from the live chat as well. So if you're game for that, then obviously get comfortable, stick around. But just warning you in advance, it's not going to be toys. It's just a general chit chat on a Saturday afternoon. I've also muted Friday so she doesn't interrupt the conversation. But if you do want to very generously drop a super chat, I would appreciate you, and I will 100% make sure I get to all of the super chats before the stream is out. So if you really want to get our attention, that is probably the best way to do it, because that way I won't ignore it. I will find it before the stream is out. Shout out to Super Turk 5000, who I knew had to jump in, because you won't be clapping when you find out he's a Spurs fan, by the way.
Oh man,
he wanted to sabotage the stream.
Oh man,
he says both Chelsea and Arsenal suck. Both you guys need to burn your shirts. This is the first time in like his modern history that he's allowed to brag, because they're actually playing okay under Postecoglou. So he's piping up for a change. But no, we'll let him be. But right, so let's do this properly, Dan. I've just shown Dan before we went live. We're going to do this properly. We're going to do a proper. I've always wanted to do this as well, by the way. Proper pre-game analysis, right? So shout out to the chat, we see you. But look at this, let's go. Okay, Look at this. Okay, so the Chelsea lineup, right? Sterling's playing up front instead of Jackson, which surprised me, but I'm not mad about it. Sterling can play down the middle, and I also have him in my fantasy team. So if he can nick a goal here, I'm not bad about it. We got Cole Palmer actually getting a start as well, our recent transfer from Man City. So you looking at that from an Arsenal perspective, does that scare you at all? Is there anyone there that you're worried about?
No. I mean, Sterling, I mean, right now they're playing like crap, but Sterling to me, he's more of like that. He's not a pure striker.
He is,
you know what I mean? So like for me, that doesn't give me any fear. But right now, as we're watching this It's raining like crap right now.
Yeah,
Look
mate,
at
it's
that.
the British weather for you. It's like we skipped summer. We literally just have autumn, spring, and winter. We do not have a summer over here. It's miserable, miserable. So yeah, it's
I
hammering it down.
But yeah, sticking with going to our fake soccer analysis, I think Cancedo and Fernandez,
Yeah,
I think that's actually a really good midfield, and like it just takes time to like get them to
agreed,
gel. You know what I mean? And
agreed.
like and your American owner is kind of mess. So like before we go
Broly's throwing the
deeper,
money. He's throwing the money.
so like how you feel about Broly, man? Like what's your thoughts as a Chelsea fan? You know?
Look, he's a very clever businessman, obviously, and
Yeah.
he's a football fan. But like,
Yeah.
he's I don't know. He's trying to go a mile a minute with the team. Like he thought throwing loads of money, buying all the best players isn't the quickest way to build a great team. Like, yes,
No.
you can have a great team of great individual players, but you've got to make sure they function as a unit. And I think that's where Chelsea are struggling right now. On paper, Chelsea have great players, but we haven't got that cohesion as a team, and there's certain players on the pitch that they're not really playing in their strongest position. Talking about
Yeah.
Sterling a second ago, his best position I think is out on the wing,
Yeah.
taking it past someone, cutting it in. So the fact that we're playing him up front with Jackson on the bench, and Jackson's someone we brought in to play up front, like
Exactly.
it's like a little bit concerning. And also, I love Thiago Silva all day long.
Yeah,
But the
but
man
he's
is
like 40.
39. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
39 years
40.
old. 39. This will be his last season, but he is a soldier, and he can still play with the best of them. Do not get me wrong, but he's not exactly Chelsea's future. Colwell, who he's playing next to, is. So it's great that Colwell gets a full season with someone like Thiago Silva. I think that will do him the world of good, because Colwell he's wearing John Terry's shirt, the 26. So hopefully he is our future. But on the we're missing James and Chidwell. And like James is
Mm,
back on the bench today, which is great, but
hmm.
they frustrate me because they just get injured so much. But James is
Yeah,
our captain; he's on the bench, he's
yeah.
injured, and Chilwell as well. But they are better than Gusto and Cucurella. Like, I don't really like the fact Tom Brody paying whatever it was for Cucurella is ridiculous.
Cucurella.
Yeah, like he spent so much money. We've overpaid because people know Chelsea have got the money. We overpay. But let's move down to Arsenal, who. Again, Arsenal had a great season last year. They let it slip through their fingers, which must have been painful for
Ah,
itself. But
oh
before
my
before
God.
we break down the team for a second, I just have to genuinely ask, where does your connection with Arsenal come from? Like, for me, Chelsea, real quick. I'm from Coventry, but my grandparents owned a pub next to Stamford Bridge. Literally, you could a stone's throw away from Stamford Bridge. So when I was growing up as a kid, obviously my dad was into Chelsea, and I'd get sent like shirts that were signed by the players, because the players back in the
Nice.
day before it was the Premier League and stuff, they used to go into the pub. So like I've always had that like tie. So growing up, that was just Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea. So that's where my connections come from. It's like a family sort of vibe. What about yourself with Arsenal?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm like looking down, but I'm like trying to be respectful.
It's
So
all
if I'm
good. It's
looking
all good.
down, yo, my bad. So yeah, it's a long story, man, but for me and as an American, like soccer or football is like not popular, like if we're being real, right?
Mate,
Um
soccer, the fact that you call it soccer, no one else on the planet calls it soccer. It's
I
it's
know.
it's it's like you created that word because you wanted that. You couldn't have two footballs. The Americans couldn't handle it.
But I guess for me, because I'm like a small Asian guy, like I couldn't play ball,
Yeah,
like b-ball that well. And I love playing American football, but like once it got to like a certain age, like I was too small. I was gonna get destroyed, you know what I mean? So like the only sport that I could actually like be good at, because I could run, you know what I mean? I have a lot of endurance, so I could run around and stuff. Um, was soccer, man. And like Koreans, like especially like people who just immigrated from Korea,
hmm
like soccer is like their national pride. You know, Asians love soccer so much. And so for me, my earliest memory is really like 1998 World Cup. That was the team where like Zidane and like OG Ronaldo was
mate.
playing,
I
right?
remember it
And
well. I
like,
remember it well. Beckham broke our
yeah,
heart.
Beckham,
Beckham broke our heart.
yeah, and man, like 98 made me like, oh man, like, cause like our family only watched like the Korea games really that
Yep.
much, and like we were really passionate about it. And that was like the first time like Korea like actually scored like two goals or tied a game. Like
Yeah.
like anytime like Korea would always go to the World Cup and
Yeah.
like we'd suck like completely. And it was like one of the only few times where, oh shit, is a handball.
I hope so. I hope so.
Oh my
I'm not sure if the
god.
chat are ahead of me, but they're sort
Oh
of saying
my
some sort of VAR
god.
and everything. I hope so. It's gone to the VAR. Possible handball. I
Oh
reckon they're
my
going to give that. They're
god.
going to give
That's an
that. It's an
handball.
what is it? They call it? What do they call it?
An in
unnatural position.
unnatural
Yeah,
position.
yeah, yeah. That I reckon they're
Oh
going to
no.
give it.
Uh oh.
Are they not going to give it?
Oh no, they're
See,
giving it to him. No, they're giving it to him. They're giving him.
Mudryk as well. Is it Mudryk going? It's Palmer going in for it. Fair play.
No. I told you in the chat, man. I thought this was gonna be a trap game, man. We're just back from international break. All right, but to finish my story, like basically after 1998, I fell in love with the game just from just from a soccer perspective. Like I needed it in my blood.
Yep.
Like and I didn't have that like the NBA or the NFL or baseball in America. So, Europe was like the only one where I could sort of like figure it out. And I would like literally try to figure out who I wanted to root for, right? But what the thing with my teams are, typically I love the Mets, like the
Yep.
Knicks, and I'll be honest with you, they're not like the most successful team. So I thought if I pick a soccer club, it needs to be a club that I feel like I can really enjoy. You know
Yep.
what I mean? And like a few years after that, like after 2002 World Cup, like I was like, all right, I got to pick a club like and really like support it. And initially, to be honest with you, I was thinking about supporting Chelsea because number one,
Okay.
I love the color blue, and I liked some of the players. Like I loved Michael Essien.
Yep.
I loved like those type of players, right? Like
Yeah, it was
hardworking, like
Ballack back then, Peter Cech,
yeah,
John
yeah, yeah,
Terry.
yeah.
Like that was the era. So you started getting involved with Arsenal, like the invincible sort of era. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no
So I
wonder you're
got
an Arsenal
spoiled.
fan. Yeah.
I got spoiled. But the thing was, like, I remember too, like, Henri was just so beautiful to watch. And to me,
Hang on, I'm just
at
looking at
that,
this penalty. I'm looking at this penalty. Hang on, hang on,
I
hang
know
on.
I'm the
He's...
fucking shit.
There
Oh,
we go.
fuck me,
Okay, do you know
man.
what? Before this game, can I just go on record to say, before
Oh,
this game, I put Cole Palmer into my fantasy team because I was like, I can see him nicking a goal here. He's on the penalty. I didn't know he was on penalties, but I will take it. So
oh
bravo.
my God.
Chelsea won. Arsenal 0. I'm just putting it on the record there. Beautiful. And yeah, for anyone coming in late, yes, it's me and Dan, spontaneous live stream on a Saturday. Of course, we will talk about toys and Giant Man. Absolutely, we will. But again, it's a casual Saturday. We're talking football first. Chelsea and Arsenal are playing right now in the UK. And just to remind Dan once more, it is currently 1-0 to Chelsea.
Oh,
Continue, Dan, continue.
man, I don't want to even talk. See, you got me all distracted. But no, but I loved Henri,
I'm just
and
going
I
to put your full
love
screen. See your face. See your face. He's hiding. He's hiding.
and I really loved at that time, like Arsenal or soccer to me. The reason why I didn't like Chelsea too was I did not like Mourinho,
Yeah.
and I did not like that defensive kind of minded
Park
tactics.
the bus, mate. Park the bus.
Yeah. When you park in the bus, like I hate that. Like
Yeah.
that's why I couldn't watch like Serie A games that much or something like that, or like root for Italy back in the day. You know what I mean? In World Cups. So like, and I know that's smart and I respect it, but like for me, I like free flowing, like possession based football, like offensive minded, right? And like for
Wenger played
me,
it very well.
yeah, Wenger was like that was so fun to watch to me, man. Like and like you said, the Invincible team, like that was epic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No
So
one's
I
done it
kind of like
since. Nobody has done it since.
exactly. So I just fell in love with Arsenal, man, and it just felt like the right club. It felt like Arsenal um, didn't as much compared to the other teams. Like they weren't like the Yankees, just like buying players too much, right? At the time,
No,
like
they were never the big spenders ever.
yeah. So like for me, like that was the type of philosophy of a club. If I could actually choose a club, that's what I liked. And to be honest, like even before Arsenal, I really loved Barcelona because I really loved Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
So like Ronaldinho and Barcelona were my like first club team that I like loved. But then like with the Premier League being so big, like I had to support a club in the Premier League, and that's why like the closest thing to Barcelona for me at that time was like Arsenal. You know what I mean?
Invincibles,
So
as I said, that era, it was all about Man U and Arsenal. That was the big rivalry back
yeah,
then. And then Chelsea, Mourinho sort of brought
yeah,
Chelsea to the forefront. But But yeah, okay, no, that's cool. So, like, in regards to the American sort of top thing, the American play the Premier League, don't they? Like, you could watch any game right now you wanted to.
Yeah, but at the time, you couldn't watch. Also, I didn't have cable at the time. You know what I mean? So like, it was never really available if you unless you were really really looking for it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So like, I would literally have to follow games like on Yahoo Sports or
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I would read the results too. Like
Yeah, just
I couldn't even.
refreshing the text. Yeah,
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 yeah. I'd be like, oh, what Vieira did this, like that kind of thing. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And yeah, that's like that takes me back a while, man. I used to be on Yahoo Sports a lot. So
yeah.
yeah, I have a genuine love for football or soccer. Like it's probably my number one sport, like
That's good
to
to
root
hear.
for, to love. And you know, anytime I've been to Europe, I've always tried to go, you know, with my lady to like an actual like football game.
Yep.
And yeah, there's nothing like compared to that in America, to be honest. Like if
I
I'm being
went
honest with you.
Highfield Road and did the tours and all of that. Yeah,
Oh,
before they moved, before they went to the Emirates. But that was back in the day. I did a few. I did most of the Premier League tours, to be fair, back in the day. But yeah. So I'm just. Have you heard about the 3 p.m. sort of blackout for UK for in regards to
no,
football? Yeah.
no.
So back in the day, because obviously football on TV, like you said, wasn't such a big thing. I'm talking way before we were born, type thing.
Yeah,
To stop people from staying at home to watch the football, they set
yeah.
this law where legally you cannot broadcast a football game at the 3 o'clock kickoffs because they wanted to encourage people to actually go to the stadiums. They thought playing the games on TV would stop people from going to the stadiums and football teams would lose out on revenue. So it's like a stupid rule that still exists to this day. So even though the majority of Premier League games are played at 3 o'clock UK time on a Saturday, legally no TV channel can play them. So there's like a 3 p.m. blackout. So just with just Man City just played, Newcastle just played. Like
Yeah.
we can't legally watch any of those games. We're just still we're
Oh,
still doing the same thing as you, is just following the text or watching some of the sports shows. So yeah, there's like a 3 p.m. blackout.
oh,
So that's why I'm jealous of the Americans, because you guys can genuinely watch every Premiership game that is played essentially.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
That actually, that makes, I mean, it
it made
makes,
sense then, but not
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah,
Not now.
yeah,
Like now with
100%.
streaming and stuff, I should be able to, as a Chelsea fan, just pay whatever they want for a subscription to just watch
Yeah.
every single Chelsea game. But yeah, there's a free. It's literally a
Oh,
free.
Declan Rice.
Let's go look at the let's look at the Arsenal team. Let's go back to this then. So Saka was injured. He just missed out playing for England, but England luckily still beat Italy, and we've qualified for the Euros now. But Saka missed out, but he's back in today, which was a surprise for everybody. He went. What was it? 87.
It was crazy. It was
Like he
crazy.
broke the record for the most consistent games without injury. So bravo, and it's such a shame that he only missed one and then he's back again. So, but he's back in the team today. You got Jesus up front, Martinelli as well, which is a front three. Like it's scary.
I love Martinelli. I feel like Saka overshadows like all the good work that Martinelli does, but I'm such a big fan of people who work really hard, and he's so direct too. He doesn't always like, sometimes when you're really talented like he is, you'll just do tricks and stuff like that, but he just makes an intent fully known. He always goes down, and yeah, I'm just lucky that we have him. I love Jesus too, Gabriel Jesus, but like, I mean, I think the criticism with him is always like he doesn't finish enough, right?
Well,
But he does so many.
the thing is with Arsenal though, you've got so many. Like you share the goals. Do you know, like
Yeah,
with Man
yeah,
City,
yeah.
it's Haaland. Haaland scores, and then a few get a few. But with Arsenal, like last year, you had like a lot of midfielders up there with the strikers. Do you know, like, and you've only really got Nketiah and Jesus anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that's the criticism that Arteta is getting this year. Is like, why'd you get Raya and
What
why
do you
did
buy
you get
Havertz? Like we were
and
like,
why
cha-ching,
Havertz? Yeah,
take
like,
Havertz. We're done. Have him.
There's something about Havertz, man. I was like,
They
all
let him
right.
take a penalty to get a goal because
I
they
know,
just felt
I
bad
know.
for him.
I felt bad for him. Oh man, that was so bad. But yeah, no, I feel like getting Declan Rice was super
How
important.
aware of you of Declan Rice before?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
are you like just
No.
following Premiership as a casual fan anyway?
Yeah. And the stuff that he did with what was it, West
West Ham,
Ham?
yeah,
Or
West Ham.
yeah. He was already good, but like when I saw him play for England, he was really important for England too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
He took
and
us to the
yeah,
final, the Euro
it,
finals, and we should have
that
fucking won at the.
yeah, that was a heartbreaking one too for you
Yeah.
guys. But yeah, no, I feel like Declan is like the type of player we needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so seeing him still kind of mesh, um, that one game where he scored that game-winning goal,
He
I was
did,
so
yeah.
happy for him. You know what I mean?
Great
But
time to
yeah,
get a
like
first goal too.
I know,
Yeah.
and Odegaard is like, I always thought he was overrated, but like the more and more I've seen him play, like
Solid player.
he's such a solid. He's like Ozil, but like better, like more consistent. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
I mean? And yeah, like the back four, Zinchenko.
Saliba and Gabriel, by the way, they're like so good. I think.
I I feel like Gabriel doesn't get enough love. Like I feel like Saliba gets a lot of the credit, but like Saliba makes mistakes that are big sometimes, once in a while. You know what I mean? But he's solid and he's young, and I love Gabriel. Ben White moving to like the outside.
Yeah, right back. Yeah.
I thought that was stupid. I was like, he's doing great, you know, and he's originally a center back, so like, why are you doing that? But he's adjusting great. So, and Zinchenko is just like, he's just crazy with his left foot. I just wish he knew how to do his right foot a little bit better. But yeah, I I honestly don't know about Raya yet. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I
with
think
the
Rams.
Ramsdale situation, like, is that not like as an Arsenal fan? Do you like? I'm not scratching your head of like, why have we brought in Raya when we've got Ramsdale?
That's what I'm thinking. But to be honest with you, I didn't know why we brought in Ramsdale the first time too.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of questions about like, is he better than Leno? You know what I mean? And like he turned out to be
Yes,
like,
he is. Yes, he
you
is.
know what I mean, much better. So like maybe I think we're trying to trust Arteta to be like he sees something in Raya that like we're missing. But I feel bad for Ramsdale because like there was nothing about his performances I felt that made him justify like switch him out like that.
Agreed. Agreed.
Especially last year, he was like so good. Oh come on, oh mother. Hey.
I think our games are like a little bit out of sync. So I'm like looking at my
Oh
screen, going, "What are you
no.
excited about?" Because I can't see
What
nothing yet.
what minute are you on?
I'm on the 24th minute.
Yeah, okay. I'm on the 20. Like I'm a minute ahead of you, I
Yeah,
think.
probably about a minute ahead. They're playing from the back at
Okay.
the minute, so okay.
Okay.
I know.
All right.
Trust me, I notice when they do something because I see your reaction. So you're my pre-warning. Again, just a reminder to the chat. Me and Dan chilling on a Saturday afternoon watching the football. It's literally an Arsenal versus Chelsea watch along. We will, of course, bring it back to toys. Absolutely. So if you want to get a question answered, to be honest, the best way to do that is probably via the super chat, and then at the end of the stream, I will literally go through every single super chat. So if you want to get a question answered, that's the best way to do it. But otherwise, who you supporting? Arsenal versus Chelsea. I could see some people there with Man U in the chat. Get out of here, Tanner, with the Spurs nonsense as well.
So I'm like so conflicted, man, as like a Korean because like when Arsenal was in their big rivalry, it was with either the Spurs or Man U, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like for Koreans, there's no bigger star than Jisung Park, right? Park Ji-sung, who's a Man U player.
Yeah.
And then now it's like Sonny, who's a Spurs player. So like my family,
like he's since Kane's went, he's stepped into the boots of like I'm the man now, and him and Maddison are building such a good partnership too.
So it's like as a Korean, every Korean roots for Tottenham, and they're like, "Why are you rooting for Arsenal?" Like it's always like my boys and my family. They're like, "We're Tottenham fans now." Like it's like, no, I can't do that. You know what I mean?
You can root for a player. Like I keep an eye on what Harry Kane's doing. I'm not a Bayern fan by any means.
Yeah,
but like as an Englishman, I'm just checking if he scored that week. What's he up to? He's our English captain, so obviously want to make sure he's still playing well and stuff like that. So I get it though. And it's the same with like Bellingham at Real Madrid. Like, as an Englishman, I'm like, I'll be watching Bellingham at Real Madrid. You know, like some players just have that caliber where you'll follow them regardless. Have you watched that Beckham documentary on Netflix?
I did. I actually loved it, man.
It was great.
I'm not a Beckham fan at all because obviously Man U and Real Madrid, but like it honestly like made me like him a lot more just because like I can understand his like craziness and his OCD and shit like that, you know what I mean? And
he's done a lot for American soccer as well.
Like,
he brought Messi, arguably one of the best players in the world on the planet ever, to America, and he's causing loads of hype right now of American football.
Yo, man, like honestly, like MLS tickets, they weren't like super expensive, but then when he came to Inter Miami and there was like a New York Miami game, like tickets, secondary market were like $400, man. I was just like, yo, what the fudge, yo? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Do you have an MLS team that you sort of keep an eye on, one that's more local to you?
yeah, so like the OG team, so this is a conflict. So I don't really watch MLS because I'll be honest, the
It's not
quality is
it's not
like
very good, is it? Let's be
it's
honest.
not the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
It's not the best. And I just don't like the whole like the fact that there's no relegation and
Yeah,
that
you
kind
just
of
have like a
thing.
weird playoff. Like you could finish sixth, but then be the champions. Like it makes no sense. It's like you have some weird playoff format, don't you?
Yeah, because like I guess like in American sports, like the draft is like a very big thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like in in European football or like soccer, like there's no like big draft thing, but you
Yeah.
think like in the NFL and in the NBA, the teams that finish the worst, they have a higher chance of getting like
A
the
good
best
player.
players next
It
year
makes
through the
sense.
draft.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah,
sense.
so for me, like I think I support the Red Bulls because they were originally the OG New York team. But now New York has like two other teams coming.
Yeah.
Like they got Manchester City owns the New York what do they own? They own a New York
Yeah,
team,
yeah, I'm familiar. I am familiar.
but and they're moving to Queens where I'm from, like right next to where the Mets are. And so I'm like conflicted. Like, do I root for the Queens team now or do I stay close to the Red Bulls, which was originally the Metro Stars? But
Henri played for the Red Bulls, right? Was it Henri?
oh my.
Is this another penalty? What's this? What's going on? I've not turned my head.
No,
Oh,
Connors has
oh.
been killing it, man. Oh my God.
I'm a bit behind, so I'm like staring at my screen, just waiting for
Oh
something to happen.
no.
Nothing's happening on my screen yet. What's happening? You got to speak to
You're
me.
you're delight. Okay, so Palmer had this really good shot and he just went
Okay.
wide
Oh, I'm
basically.
watching it now. I'm watching it now. Okay. Yeah. 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 Just wide. Just wide. See, I put him in my fantasy team before the start of this game, and usually I have terrible luck. So
So how does fantasy work for football?
there's different apps, and it depends on which way you do it. Like me and Tanner are always having this conversation. Like there's a official Premier League fantasy football where you pick your team based on points. Certain players cost different points, and then at the end of every sort of game week, you have an opportunity to like make a couple of subs depending on like your points that you've sort of accumulated from players playing well or not. But there are different apps that do it. Like I've got an app where I can actually make a sub in between games. So like after this game, I could transfer out Palmer and bring in Rashford for the Man U game. And I like that
Got
because I
it.
think it's more tactical because you've got to be more aware of what's going on. But the Premier League one is like you've got to pick your team before the game week kicks off, before that first game kicks off that week, and then that team's
Got
sort
it.
of locked in. So there's different ways to do it. But are you like someone? Tanner did ask in the chat. Do you have any fantasy football in regards to Premier League?
No, I mean I always so I'll be honest, if I'm already crazy about sports, if I do fantasy sports, like I'm gonna dedicate so much of my stupid time to just like because I'm like super competitive too. So right, like so if I ever did fantasy sports, like I'll be like religiously like on my phone. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Which is
Me and the missus just went to like B&Q, which is like Home Depot, just buying some paint and stuff. You've seen her redoing the room downstairs. So like
yeah.
she's pushing the trolley round, and I'm just sat on like I've pulled out a deck chair that they're selling. I'm sat on it, and I'm doing my fantasy football because I was like they just revealed the lineups, so I could make a few changes type thing. So yeah, you do get distracted, but I love it. It makes the neutral games like a little bit more fun to watch. Like I could
But
watch Arsenal because I've got Saka in my team. So like apart from today,
I
I want
see.
Saka to do well. Do you know what I mean?
Got
So
it, got it, got it.
yeah,
So how do midfielders get points just by assists? Like that's the
assists and
thing that's
goals.
compete.
Yeah, assists and goals.
Okay. But
Yeah,
like midfielders do so much more. So like
yeah,
if you're like a defensive midfielder, like so do you choose like all 11 players to
yeah.
like
So
all
you can
positions?
pick what format, you can pick your players type thing, but it depends on the player what has positioned the league that signs that player. So if I'm playing the official Premier League one, like Rice is a defensive
Okay.
midfielder, but if there's a
Hmm.
clean sheet in that game, he doesn't get a
Oh, he'll
points.
get.
He doesn't get any points for a clean sheet
Oh,
because he's still a midfielder. It's literally if you're centre backs, left back, right back. It's simple. It's as simplistic as that. Yeah.
oh.
So it is
I, I
pretty
thought
shit.
I thought it would be like you know how like XG is like a big stat now. I thought it would be like those type of like
I
stats and
reckon
stuff
it will
like that.
evolve. I reckon the game will evolve. But right now, it's just very like if you're a defender, you get points for a clean sheet. Defender and goalkeeper get points for a clean sheets, and then midfielders and strikers will get points for assists and goals. And if you've got a defender that gets a clean sheet and a goal, then happy. That's what you want. I always try and
No,
pick my defenders that are more likely to nick a goal because they're guaranteed to get a couple of clean sheets throughout the season. But if you can get a
no.
defender that's always up for every corner and can nick an odd header or something like that, that's what I try and go for.
Gotcha.
Like the Van Dijks in Liverpool. He hasn't scored this season,
Mm,
but he does usually nick a goal.
yeah.
So yeah, and again, just a reminder for the chat, we're just talking football, but we are kind of going to come back round to the toys. I can see people dropping in some super chats and stuff, which I appreciate.
Let's talk some toys, man. My bad. I'm losing anyway, so I don't want to forget.
Now you don't want to watch, do you? Now I'm like, let's keep watching. Half an hour in, 1-0 to Chelsea, but we will keep an eye on it. So Giant Man is happening right now. We can let's have a little refresh, which I'm sure you guys are doing over there anyway. And since the Wasp reveal, it has gone up. Look, it's creeping its way to 7,000 there. So I've got Wasp over here. So where's my image of Wasp? There she is. So that was the image you shared from Dwight. Dwight posted that on Instagram, which is a beautiful shot, by the way. Like, I think this image alone got a couple of people back in it last night. Absolutely. How long did you have Wasp in your back pocket? Like, I have to know. Like, people are very curious as well, because you see, as I said, you're self-aware of what's going on in the community, and you see different comments like, "Oh, they're panicking." Like, you clearly have a prototype of Wasp right there balancing on Hank's shoulder, so it's not like that isn't like a panicked rush decision. Wasp has been in your back pocket for a while. So what was the planning with Wasp? Did you want to show it off during the campaign? Was that always a plan, or what's the thinking with Wasp?
Yeah, so this is like a loaded question, but so let's start from the beginning. So for myself, Dwight, and Ryan are the faces of Marvel Legends, right? We put ourselves out there. We don't get paid extra or whatever, right? But we love it and we are really passionate about working on it. However, when it comes to revealing Wasp or revealing anything in that matter, there's like a whole group of stakeholders, including us three, in order to make a final decision to be like reveal Wasp. So just to give context there, right? So like, and each of us, we don't always agree on, what the plan of action should be. And the way that Marvel Legends works is we like to keep flexibility in our back pocket, right? So that's why in the past HasLabs, we didn't really come out up in front. Because, in like the past, like when Galactus, like everybody thinks Galactus went like super well, but like Galactus didn't fund until like towards the end
of this time in the campaign, it started to move, which is what Giant Man's doing right now. It's moving.
Yeah. And so we wanted to save some of those tiers to be like to get that marketing push, that bounce. You know what I mean? But with Giant Man, I think the strategy was we really didn't want to replay the same playbook that we did with Engine of Vengeance. There was a lot of negative feedback to 6-inch figures that were very desirable. Being connected to HasLab, right? And so
myself included, by the way, I would have loved to have added it with Mephisto or Goblin Queen to my collection. So I understand the frustration with that one.
So I think, our plan was show everything up front. We think, and I still think 100% that at $199.99, Giant Man, 24 inches tall, 91 points of articulation, different faceplates for emotions, different eyes, a lot. I really can't stress this enough. If you see it in person, like the texture on the body, every little detail is like super premium. Like, I'm very proud of it. And if we don't get it, like it'll really break my heart. I'm not gonna lie. So I guess we thought initially that the offering in itself would have been compelling enough to get to 10,000 backers on its own. You know what I mean? I think that's like my perspective and maybe some other stakeholders too, right?
Yeah.
And whenever we reveal like the potential of a Wasp. And to be fair, like that Wasp is a very, very early prototype. So we didn't, whenever we decided to launch, we didn't have the digital renders at that time, and we didn't have that prototype ready to go. You know what I mean? It's like development continues to happen every single day. And so I think some of the stakeholders who make the decisions saw how negative sometimes the community can be. So they thought they could latch on. They thought that showing the Wasp too early, to some people, it would be like an incentive to purchase, but to other people, it would just be another excuse for negative news. You know what I mean? Yep. Which we really try to mitigate for the community, because it's not only stressful for everybody within the community, but it's stressful for all of us too, right? Like we're the ones, especially me, I'm the one that's always like lurking around what every single person is trying to think, you know what I mean? So
just a quick comment on that, like, and I do think there is a portion of people out there that are just negative for the sake of being negative. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not
like, the people that they have the right to do that.
No,
too,
of course,
you know
but this is what I'm being critical. Like, just because you're being critical, I'm not saying those people are negative. People are allowed to be critical and have their comments,
100%,
have their opinions.
100%.
Like, I'm not putting critical and negative in the same bubble. Like, they're separate things.
Agreed.
So there's a lot of people that are being critical, and that's fair game, absolutely fair. And again, it's not for everyone. We get it, but there are a small portion of just keyboard warriors that are just featherweight collectors as it is, that just jump on every opportunity to be negative for attention or whatever it is. And don't and I know people like to pretend they're not out there and whatever, but they are out there. They're in every single community, in every single hobby. There is always that small portion of people that go in there and stir the pot, and for some reason just get off on just winding people up and just seeing people get frustrated. So there's always going to be, you could have released this for £10 and there would have been a portion of people going, why is it not £9? You know what I mean? Like, it's just always going to be that way. So
yeah, and I think one of the reasons why we didn't put it out there already is because there's always going to be a small population of people, or a big population of people, who are going to be like, oh, you should have added her, into the thing at $200, right? And like at the end of the day, from a business standpoint, that wasn't possible, right? And $199 we thought was like a very big psychological price point that we wanted to have for people, because we knew that Ghost was coming out. We knew that G.I. Joe was going to have a HasLab as well. And we were unsure about what the economy was going to be when we were planning this out too. You know what I mean? And everything has gone up too, right? If we're being real, right?
And HasLabs are a luxury item. Like, let's be honest. Like, there's no one's trying to pretend that they're not. HasLabs just within themselves price some people out, and that's absolutely fine. They're luxury items.
Yeah, people always think like I'm rich or something like that, but like, yo, I'm poor as
Mate, I've got lots of toys, like, but I'm very irresponsible. Trust me. Like,
I'm so poor, it's not even funny. But either way, like, so that was sort of the mindset of Wasp. And I know a lot of people in hindsight, they're like, oh, you should have revealed it like mad earlier, but we don't know. I still don't know for sure how the community would have reacted, whether it be negative or positive, right? Yeah, but now that we've showed her, and now that we've gone to New York Comic Con, which we were also hoping would see an uptick, and we did see an uptick after we showed him in person. Oh my God, please. All right. No, don't worry. Okay. And then, but yeah, like, I think I will say, just from remembering last year to this year, this campaign has been, there was like no momentum after 5K at some point for Engine of Vengeance, right? And it was even hard for me to like even tweet about it, because
we could see that you guys I don't want to say give up, because you just didn't give up.
Yeah, we didn't give up.
But you could definitely see the hype. Just people were just, because there was such a negative sort of atmosphere around it. Everyone just wanted to get away from it at that point, I think, so it fizzled out. That is probably the right word for it.
Yeah, but like with this, I still have hope. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's no exaggeration, but I think I've sent the Ted Lasso Believe GIF like 10,000 times to like people, because I still believe in it, and I genuinely want this one. And I've seen it in person, I've touched it, and I think if you're an Avengers collector, like, this is going to be such a good addition to the collection. And yeah, like just going back to the Wasp, because I
Yeah.
know there have been some questions with Wasp. She's fully pinless. She has a new skirt, new upper torso. She's on a ball waist.
Yeah.
So like her whole waist from the belly would be the articulation point. So you could see that in Dwight's photo a little bit. So it swivels around like a ball joint. And I hope you've noticed, but like the female HUD scopes have been amazing. Like they've been
Oh,
turning out like
that clear
so
head,
so.
that clear head we got recently. Like I haven't
Yeah,
heard anyone say anything negative about it. And again, that's the advantage of digital face printing tech. You compare
yeah,
that to a Rogue of the Toy Biz days, it is crazy the difference.
yeah, yeah. So like yeah, and again, pinless arms and legs. So she's gonna be coming in 2024. We haven't really announced in what. Oh, please stop the. Oh,
I hate being a little bit delayed to you because when I turn my head, I'm just seeing like play. I ain't seen nothing happening. I do have a question about the wings. If you know the answer, are they reused from
sure.
like the previous like the female beetle or the previous wasp, or are they
It will
new
be
wings?
so. I haven't actually touched this one, but to my understanding, when I talked with Dwight and when I looked at the digital sculpts, I believe it's around the same configuration as the previous
Yeah.
Wasp that we've gotten. So I think it's around the same configuration or the same style, I would say. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
so
there's
just the
still,
same mold of the wings,
yeah,
essentially. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And
But
they do the job. Again, I think she looks great. I guarantee you, this picture alone, sold a couple of units of Giant Man for sure. Because Bug Nice made me laugh in one of his videos recently because he was like, will people go and read a comic because like Giant Man is integral to the Avengers team? Like we've been saying, like this Wasp is based off her first sort of Avengers sort of one
yeah,
look. So,
yeah.
and again, I have to sort of just say this now, and again, just stay completely silent if I'm correct. But we're going to get the repainted Mark One Iron Man in gold, right?
I mean, I cannot comment, and I'm just watching the game
Cool.
at all.
Distracted, of course. I get it. I get it. That's fair. That's
You
fair.
know, we got a free kick from Odegaard coming. Oh, taking it short. Oh,
And then
oh,
in issue two, so again, this is our issue two of the original Avengers team. Giant Man is standing right there with the Wasp down there in the corner. Like they are paired up. It's Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne have one of the most complicated relationships in Marvel history. Full stop. Period. So like the fact you need them both. So I love the fact that Wasp was confirmed that she's come in, and like God forbid Giant Man doesn't happen, at least we're going to still get this beautiful Wasp looking figure. And I think that's the advantage or the positive to take from it not being an unlocked here. Offside, offside. That's what I'm seeing.
no, I'm talking about your team. They just, man, you need to refresh your
I
thing,
don't know.
bro.
I told you, you're on the American hype. We're all delayed here in the UK. And it takes a commentator swears or something. All right, I'm going to refresh it.
But shout out to like you said, Boog. I've heard some of the comments he said. I know Boog loves to give us pressure a lot on the interviews, but and I know some people are saying it's because of Boog that
I
we
like that
revealed.
meme, by the way, of that. Do
Yeah,
you know the Keenan Peele meme where it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
Boog
yeah.
saying
Of
what up,
sweating.
and it's just you
Yeah, yeah.
guys sweating because
And
he just hammer with like the questions. Then he doesn't get you a chance to breathe.
yeah, yeah. And no, it wasn't because of Boog that we revealed Wasp. I'm telling you, like from day like -0 or negative 25 or whatever, when we were all contemplating, do we show Wasp on XYZ date? Like when do we show Wasp?
Yeah,
And yeah, we were just flexible, and I'm glad that you guys got to see this photo. I agree with you. I think this photo in itself probably got some backers. You know what I mean?
agreed, agreed.
I also think though that like, and if I'm being real with you too, that like if this fails, let's say, God, knock on wood, it doesn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do think it does indicate to the greater stakeholders within our team um, a lot of implications, right, about the character strength and stuff like that, and I know we have like a big community of comic collectors only, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But it is hard for me as because I love comic characters too to because there's always a a battle of balance, right? There's like MCU characters, comic characters that we have to create, and there's
I'm
only
constantly telling people it's okay to like both as well. You don't have to
yeah,
pick a
yeah. You
side.
don't have to pick a
I love
side, like
both. I love both.
um, but it does give indications to all the stakeholders. Like it makes us question a lot of things. You know what I mean? So hopefully we don't have to have those questions
Yeah.
because it will fun. You know what I mean?
I've got wood right here. There you go. I'm knocking on it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we'll see. Fucking halftime, bro. Yo,
I
what the?
take it. I take it. So
Oh,
just to update people, me and Dan are basically doing a watch along of Chelsea Arsenal. I'm not sure if we'll make it all the way to the end, but currently it is 1-0 to Chelsea. So I'm going to take it. There's still 45 minutes left. This is the time, Dan, where I don't mind if they park the bus. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know Americans usually, in general, probably not yourself because you get it, don't like English football because it's low scoring. Like,
no,
what was a touchdown? 7 points. Like, you just randomly picked a number. Do you know what I mean? Just to make it look like a high score. But you're still doing the same one thing once. Do you know what I mean? Like, but why 7 points or whatever it is? Someone probably going to correct me. Is it 7 points?
So one touchdown
It's
is 6 points,
and then you get a kick.
and then yeah, so you could either go for two, which some coaches, depending on the time of the game, they'll go for two, right?
How'd you go
And
for two?
sometimes you get to do another play, an additional play.
Okay.
You don't start at the one. I forgot what yard line you start, but you get an additional play.
Okay.
To try to get a touchdown. But if you don't, you only get one play. So if you mess that up, you only get six, right?
Okay.
Or you could go try to kick it in, which is only 1 point. Which also that's not guaranteed either. But if you can't get the 1 point in, then like you should be fired from your job. You know what I mean?
There's people on teams. Like, also these teams have like 56 players or whatever it is. It's ridiculous. But there's only literally like one or two kickers in a team, isn't there? Like, it's literally their job is to come on and just kick a ball once.
Yeah, but like some of those guys, man, like now they kick it like close to 60 yards out. So it's like Harry Kane, he jokes that he wants to like join some
Be a
team
kicker.
to like
That'd be
be
crazy
a
if a Premier
kicker.
League player. A goalkeeper would be able to do that, I think. A Peter Cech in his prime might have been able to come over and kick a
Yeah,
ball.
maybe I don't know, but
He's a hockey player, by the way. Now he's an ice hockey player in Canada.
yeah, I saw that in yeah. The thing that ruined American football for me a little bit was somebody, and I forgot who said it on TV, but they were like, if you look at American football, it's just like a set piece play all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but that like clicked for me, and I was like, I hate set piece plays. Like, why am I watching this? You know what I mean?
I have tried so hard to watch like Super Bowls and stuff. Like, I genuinely do every Super Bowl. I try. I think I genuinely think like, am I missing something? Like, am I missing something? Is there something wrong with me? Like, I try and watch it to get the hype, and then like every 2 minutes you just stop in, and it's like it's just meh. I just can't get into it. I can't get into it.
You notice the stops more and more after you watch like soccer. You know what I mean?
The only argument people have on soccer is it's low scoring. Oh, it's a 0-0 game. You can have a great 0-0 game. Do you know what I mean? Like, people don't realize that you can have a great 0-0. Like, not that we want. Don't get me wrong. We don't want 0-0s, but you can still have a great 0-0 game. So like, I've tried, and again, I know I'm British, and it's just what we've grew up with, and we've been developed in a way where we're only going to like certain things. But I just can't get into American football. And you also
what about
basketball? And I used to play basketball back in my first medal as a kid ever was a basketball medal. Yeah, back in the day. That was like early secondary school, so maybe middle school for you guys, or high school. So yeah, I played basketball. I was one of those kids who would play any sport, like whatever. The only one I never did was rugby. I'm not really built for rugby, but I also don't watch. I don't even know the rugby rules. Like, I have no clue either. So watching rugby and American football is the same for me. I don't understand either of them. It's like pick up the ball and run, essentially. But I don't like cricket either. Cricket bores me. I don't like golf. I think golf is for rich people that don't have a lot of stress in their life, because
the thing is though with golf is like, I feel like once you're at a certain age, you can't play football. You can't play like just recreationally. Don't get me wrong.
I get
you know what I mean?
I'm just not in that. I'm not there yet. Do you know what I mean?
No, me neither.
When I retire, maybe, but right now I just can't watch it. Like, so for me, it's football. That's like the main sport I watch, and I'll watch like the Olympics and stuff out of curiosity and stuff. But other than that, it's just football.
they got some crazy new Olympic events coming. They got breakdance coming. They got
Are you
flag
in it? Are you
football.
getting it? You're leaving
No,
Hasbro to
no,
go and
no,
join
no.
the US breakdancing team for the
I
Olympics.
think I think some Disney Marvel people might be the best breakdancers ever, from what I know. But going back to, since we're in halftime, maybe we should talk more toys.
Yeah,
But
let's do it.
like,
Let's do it.
what's your thoughts on the campaign in general? Like, and I want your honest feedback too. Like, what are
Yeah, no,
you
of course. Like
and what the
obviously,
chat is thinking too? You know?
yeah, I'll go and read some comments from the chat. So, chat, if you wanna get our attention, as I said, I will go back and read every single super chat. So, I will come to them very shortly. So, get them in now. If you've got a question or any thoughts, whatever is on your mind on this Saturday afternoon. But yeah, in regards to the campaign, I'm not gonna lie, the Engine of Vengeance left a bad taste in people's mouth, just in the community in general. Like, it just, for a long time, it lingered. Like, I've seen people, again, very dramatic, but both ends of the spectrum, where some people are like quitting, like they're just, I'm out, I can't be asked, I don't want to be involved with this hobby anymore. It's like the word toxic gets thrown around a lot, and again, people like to say criticism's toxic. I'm not one of those people. I do not think
Yeah,
criticism is
yeah,
toxic, but
yeah,
people sometimes blur those lines, and it's very frustrating.
yeah,
It's like, no, there are definitely toxic people, but I'm not saying everyone who's critical is toxic. That's never the case. But there was a lot of bad vibes in the air. So with this HasLab, we were all speculating like it had to be a home run, like just for the sake of Marvel Legends, it had to be a home run. So a lot of us assumed Giant Man would be the way to go. And I think everyone predicted it would be Giant Man. Dwight was basically telling us it was Giant Man on the run up to the campaign anyway. Like, I don't know.
yeah,
He's clearly not got any marketing skills, Dan.
yeah.
You just need to get him in the
He surprised me and Ryan. I will say that.
Yeah.
And
He basically gave away it was Giant Man on the lead up to that. But again, when it was Giant Man, we'd just been used. And again, even me and Rich did a whole stream on
yeah, yeah.
what we were going
I
to get.
saw
And of
that.
course, me and Rich dial it up for the sake of conversation.
Yeah,
Like, we never, like, Rich didn't really think you were going to give us, like, one of Hank Pym's daughters from a future reality or whatever. Like, we're just, for the
yeah,
sake of conversation, we just like to dive into those things. But
yeah,
we genuinely I genuinely thought the base campaign would be a figure and Giant Man, and I thought like a smaller version or a Wasp would have been a perfect way to go. So when I first seen it, my initial reactions was, oh, where is the figure? Like, genuinely, that's just where my brain went. And then the price point was in the 200, which also surprised me because it was the cheapest Marvel HasLab ever. And I say cheap, obviously £200 is still a lot of money, but in regards to the HasLab scheme, especially coming off the back of a £500-600 Ghost, I thought £200 was very reasonable for a HasLab project. But then it also throws up those questions of like, well, if it's only 200, why is it a HasLab? Why couldn't it be on Pulse? I know I see a lot of people argue about that. Can you speak on that in any way? Like, why a project to like Giant Man is harder to do on Pulse or at retail?
yeah. So I think there are a lot of reasons why. So I wouldn't quote my answer right now as like the Hasbro answer, but there are a lot of speculation online in the community. Oh, it's like uh, the size of the package or the price point or things of that
Yeah.
nature. I think ultimately, if I make it the simplest as possible, right? Like, it's strategically the best for the business, um, to put it this way. Like, I'm not going to go into the reasons why
Of
that
course, of
is,
course.
right? And you could speculate that, but from both a retailer standpoint and from Hasbro's standpoint, I think this gives us the best um, ROI, like return on, you know, and so that's why that's like a really messed up way of answering that question, I guess. But it's because I don't want to go into too much of the minutia and the details of why,
Of course, of course.
because
Again,
then
just for the chat, this is a casual Saturday
yeah,
conversation. This isn't an official Hasbro thing. Me and Dan are watching Chelsea and Arsenal talking toys, so that's what we're doing.
yeah. So like, I'll just say that, you know, whenever we choose uh any decision basically for a figure, like there are certain reasons why they're made as a HasLab versus not versus exclusive, right? Or etc. Right? And at the end of the day, like I feel like sometimes in our community, um, people are easy to be like, oh, it should have been X, Y, and Z, it should have been that. But like in the background, there are a myriad of reasons why we executed the way we did. You know what I mean? And and ultimately, like, we have to think of it from a business perspective as well. So, and unfortunately, that's not the most digestible answer.
Yeah.
And trust me, like, if I was not part of Hasbro and just a collector, I can understand and I can truly empathize why, like, some people, um, ask those questions. So it's completely
I
fair.
also do think there's some grey area in regards of a company like Hasbro having to do HasLab, which is a whole nother conversation. But
Yeah,
there is a
yeah,
portion of people out there that just genuinely don't want to support that type of avenue type thing. So
yeah. And for those people, just to start to interrupt, it's just like at the end of the day, like I I just want to emphasize again, like there's so much craziness to life already, like outside of like the toy
agreed.
world, right? And so at the end of the day, this is a premium toy that is not like, you know, like a basic necessity or like a medical thing that's needed to save
Like we
lives or
said, it's a
anything like that.
luxury. We said it's a
Yeah.
luxury. Yeah.
So yeah, no, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, man.
No, of course. As I said, like again, it's a we're in a lucky situation to be able to do what we do, and yeah, like yeah, the Giant Man one again. Like, so I was initially like a little bit like, oh, where's the figure? But then I understood, like, okay, you're keeping the price point down, and then I also found the flip side of that was like a character like Wasp now isn't tied to the success of the campaign, which is definitely a positive. So, but for me, again, it's awkward for me because I'm a big Legends guy anyway. Like,
Yeah,
people
yeah.
think you guys send me everything for free, by the way. Like,
No, 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 no,
that's a
no.
genuine thing that happens
We
online.
we
People
send him
think,
two things every year, two of each.
I
I have
wish.
I send him this build a figure is going straight to Dan
Yeah,
right
cheers, mate.
now.
Cheers, mate. I've got some room on the display. Yeah, but this is the thing. Like, but if people actually paid attention, I've been on YouTube for a while now, and I've always been a Legends guy. Do you know what I mean? And it was never my attention to be like, "Hello, Hasbro, pay attention." It was just like I was just sharing my passion. Like, genuinely, like I used to watch people like Glenn Webb and Shartamus, and like
Yeah,
there wasn't really much of a UK perspective. I used to always hear about Targets and Walmarts, and I'd be like, "Well, I can't go Target and Walmart. I don't have a Walgreens. Like, where can I buy stuff?" So like I made my channel just to share my collecting, and like people always moan about me being positive all the time, but again, I pay for everything in my collection out of my own money. So why would I purposely pay for something I know I'm not going to like? We're all adults. We all do enough research in our purchases to make sure we're confident with our buying habit. Do you know what I mean? So like, why would I buy
yeah,
something just to do a review and bitch about it? Like, then I'd be an idiot for wasting my money. So my reviews are mainly positive because I'm reviewing the stuff I'm buying for my collection, if that makes sense. So
yeah. And I just want to really set the record straight too. Is that like we never we never send free stuff to people. Like really,
I
only.
know that.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
I
a
just
few
want
people out there that think otherwise.
The only time we ever give like a thank you thing is like when we used to do like early reviews to people, and if you review when you reviewed Beast or something like
For the
that,
record, I
like,
never got a thank you, Beast. You maybe send Beast
oh,
back.
okay.
Just
I
saying.
don't know.
It's all
I
over
will
now.
talk.
It's all over now. It doesn't matter now.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, and that just proves my point even more so. You don't
Yeah, yeah,
always
yeah.
send stuff out, is what I'm saying.
So I guess my other point is like whenever somebody gets thrown the word shill or something like that, like I
Mate,
feel
that
bad
word's
for,
boring. His word's boring
yeah,
now. If you
but
say that word, you just look like an idiot now. For me, anyway. That's just my perspective, speaking for myself. But you lose me if I try and have a conversation with someone and they start using that word and they're serious, then I straight away just want to zone out and be like, well, clearly you don't know, do you? You're like,
and but the other thing that I want to emphasize too is that like myself, Ryan, and Dwight, we're human beings that are like outside of Hasbro too,
wait, you're
right?
not
So like
robots built by Hasbro, work
I
for
know
Hasbro.
it's not,
Wow.
but
I was gonna say you're very lifelike.
so like when we develop like touch points with you guys too, some of us are going to be friendlier to like other people just because like you and I are probably have a lot of common stuff. Like we both love football, you know what I mean? We both love
Hip hop.
music, that kind of
Yeah.
hip hop,
Yeah.
for real. And but like some people then see that and they're like, "Oh, because I'm friendly with you, like you're definitely a shill, like you have that negative bias." And I just want to clarify that like we have human friendships with these guys too, like outside of just like this like almost predatory kind of abusive relationship of just
you can
you
guarantee
know
if
what I mean?
Arsenal beat Chelsea today, regardless of this stream,
Yeah.
Dan would have been in my DMs
Yeah,
reminding
that's
me. Do you
true.
know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just I just want to say that like we try to be fair with every influencer, and that there is a influencer relationship, and sometimes there's a friendship relationship that I think people need to respect too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and some people try to like pigeonhole us to try to create drama too of certain things.
People
Like,
love the drama, though, don't they? People
yeah,
literally build careers off the drama.
yeah. So like for instance, I know lately like people were saying like I'm being cold to Russ, right, to Shardamus,
Yeah.
and I feel like, to be honest, like me and Russ, like off screen, like we share like very personal stuff, and like I'm supportive of the Street Humans
Of course, yeah. We
campaign,
were talking about it this week.
and
Yeah.
yeah, so like we speaking only for me, right? Like we don't have beef with anybody. Like me and Talker, like offline, we're like cool. We made peace, and like there's no issue, and there was never like
I think Talker is a big fan. Like that, you're gonna have a collection room like that unless you're a big fan. Yeah, I think he leans
yeah.
into it as well for the amusement, as I suppose. But there's people.
And just because, though, I just want to be clear, though, just because we're cool, though, that doesn't mean that like I condone or agree with anything that any of you guys say. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that like there's no beef. You know what I mean?
And that's
So
that's the magic of YouTube as well. By the way, it gives everyone a voice. Like if you
yeah,
don't like
yeah,
me and you don't like my perspective and things, that's absolutely okay. There's someone
yeah,
else out there that you will, and it would be pretty boring if everybody on YouTube talking about toys had the same perspective, the same opinions.
exactly.
It would be boring. It's the same with like food. It's the same with music. If everyone liked the same food, you'd go to a restaurant and there'd be one thing on the menu. You'd have one thing on a playlist. Like everyone's different. Everyone has different thoughts and opinions, and occasionally you'll come across someone that you just, I don't know, you just don't have the same vibe with for whatever reason, and that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
Like people need to understand it's okay. Like not to. What I don't get, I get on my channel quite a lot. People getting mad at me because I don't share the same opinion as them, and it's like, well, sorry about that. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, it's just one of them.
there is a psychological aspect of like wanting to see stuff that you agree with, number one, and then there's also a psychological aspect of like hate watching stuff too, right? Where like you can
And that's
watch
where the
something.
drama comes in, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
people,
yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah,
always lurkers. There's lurkers right
yeah,
now. We know you're there. We know you're lurking. But again, bringing it all the way back to toys. That's at the bottom line. It's toys. This is a place for me
yeah.
to share my hobby. Like I fun. This is my escapism from work. YouTube is not my job. I wish it doesn't pay anything. Trust me. Like the work you put into YouTube, you do not get that same reward back. Though thanks to all my channel members and the people that do support the channel. But I do work a full-time job, a very boring IT job. It's like that's my full-time job. That's what pays the mortgage and bills. This is my hobby. This is my escapism, and I'm lucky that I've built a place and met so many great people. MCM, we're going to be at MCM later this week. Next weekend. This time next week, I'll be at MCM. Meeting some of these people that we've met through the hobby. So I always think it's more fun when you can share a hobby with like-minded people, like you and me now, talking football, talking toys. Like it just makes sense. Do you know what I mean? It's fun.
Yeah, and I can't wait for Ryan has been very kind to let me, go to London MCM, but this year it's a crazy year for me personally, and oh my fucking god.
Okay, I'm just turning my head. I'm just turning my head then because I'm a minute behind. This ain't that's a reaction I wanted to see. Okay, again, anyone slow in the chat, me and Dan are basically doing a live watch along of Chelsea versus Arsenal. Dan is an Arsenal fan. I'm a Chelsea fan. And currently, Chelsea were winning 1-0, but they're just on a break now. And I'm a little bit delayed to Dan. So Dan's reaction is making me think something happens. Okay, Mudrik's got it on the side there. He's putting it in. And he scored? Was that a cross or a goal? I will take it. That was a cross. That was not a shot.
That's the only way he scores for you. True. Is by accident.
I will take it. Mudryk. He doesn't even score in the Premiership.
No, look at that. That was such a bad cross.
Ramsdale is on the bench now. Ramsdale is on the bench just like... I will take it. 2-0.
That was such a bad cross.
This is not how you expected today to go, Dan, right?
No, I told you, man, this was gonna be a trap game. Fuck. Oh.
Okay, let's get. People have been very kindly super chatting, so I do want to just get to some questions if I can. So there is a poll in the chat right now that quite simply says, "Have you backed Giant Man? Have you backed Giant Man?" Again, no right or wrong answer to that. It's just have you backed Giant Man? 49% people say yes, 29% say nope and not going to, and 22% still say they're undecided. Okay, so there's still 22% of the people watching this stream right now that are on the fence, Dan. So. All right, I'm going to go to anyone who was super chatted and stuff, and I'll get these up on the screen. While Dan is coming to
recovering.
I'm watching the replay. That was a great shot. Right, let me scroll up.
The only way he scores for you guys is by accident.
I'll take it. Super Turk was talking about Spurs, so we're going to ignore him. Shane Shoot with a £5 super chat, much appreciated. He says, Dan and Dan, what up from the Bay Area? Dan, why please make sure Dwight keeps the toe joints extra strong, concerned about them getting loose over time. I assume after the sort of Galactus sort of not Galactus, it was Sentinel, wasn't it? A few people had issues with the knees. I never had issues. I always thought mine still stands up right now. But I think Galactus is the confidence that all of that has been worked out, and Dwight will keep it on lock.
Yeah, I mean, knock on wood, right? You never know. But yeah, our QA/QC team, Dwight, our engineer, our greater team, they try to do a good job of just learning every single time. And as everyone knows, I love toe articulation, but I never claimed to have started it, or whatever. Toe articulation is something that I've been harping on Dwight a lot. So I'll make sure that it's double strong on the toes, hopefully, and we'll see. Dwight doesn't really listen to me too, so I'm not the best person to always ask him stuff anyway. Just because I ask, he'll probably be like doing the opposite, so you never know.
Okay.
It might be good that I don't ask.
We'll send the message. Little pieces of plastic with I think it's like 50 Mexican dollars or whatever the Mexican currency is.
Pesos.
Peso. Thank you very much. He says, hey guys, regards to you both. I'm here just to ask Dan and the Marvel team not to forget about us Mexican fans. A Hasbro Pulse.mx is long overdue. I'm sure ideally you'd love Legends to be easily available everywhere, right? Surely.
Yeah, I mean, if I had any, magical powers to make Hasbro Pulse available everywhere, I would. It takes a lot of things in the background to get Hasbro Pulse up, but Mexico is a big community for us, and it's a big fan base. So hopefully we'll see it. Giant Man is available on 2 retailers through Mexico, though. Nice. So it should be available.
There you go, people. It is available in Mexico via independent retailers. You just got to find them. Do you know their names off the top of your head? I'm sure a quick Google, someone can find it.
I will probably butcher the pronunciation,
but same as me.
And to answer some of the questions that I always get about international backers, yes, the count that you see does reflect a point in time of international backers, but it doesn't update immediately. So on a weekly cycle, they'll probably update the international backers. So
does that include like UK or UK and US or any of the Pulse sites? Are they all in cohesion or are they all a little bit out of sync?
I believe the UK one, since it's Pulse directly, is updated live. But for, let's say, like any retailer that's outside of Pulse, which we have a lot in like Australia, Asia, and Latin America, those will be inputted later on.
Yep. Okay. Makes sense. Well, I'm looking at the UK one now. If anyone's interested, 6,910. Let me give it a refresh. And there you go. It's went up 10 just with us talking. So that was clearly us influencing the community there. So good job, Dan. Good job.
Of course.
Let's go back to these super chats. Again, if you've got one, now's the time to get it in. So we're going through these. Still 2-0 to Chelsea, just saying that. Marvel Legends UK, which is my friend Neil. It's no association to the Marvel Legends UK Facebook group. This is just the guy who got the tag first, if that makes sense. His name's Neil. He says, hello, Dan and Dan. Thank you very much, Neil. California Red Devil said, Dan, let's get soccer starting lineups. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it, to be fair?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak for the starting lineup team or anything like that, but I love those figures. And to be honest, like I really was pitching hard for like a Sunny figure or Messi figure and things like that. But there's so many licensing loopholes and things of that nature
Oh, of
to make it
course.
happen. So, uh, oh my God,
Okay.
nothing happened. Nothing
Okay,
happened.
I'm
Don't
watching.
worry. No one
I'm
scored.
watching.
No one scored. No one
Just
scored.
seen the save. Just seen the save. Okay, underneath that, so thank you very much, California Red Devil. We got Jay's Toy Collection UK. It says 1 week till MCM London. My first Comic Con. Looking forward to meeting everybody. Dan, will you be joining us? Also, will be great if Giant Man prototype would be there if it funds, hopefully. So you've already just said that Ryan Ting's going.
Yeah.
You were there last year. That's how we met. We met at MCM
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was good to see you, Brandon, and a bunch of other people that I just knew through the internet. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Actually meet in person. So it was awesome. And London is so beautiful, man. I wish I could stay a couple days more in London just to like do some touristy
If you had
stuff. You know
stayed
what
an
I
extra
mean?
day, you could have went to the Arsenal game. I remember
I
you saying that.
know.
Yeah.
I know. I wanted to. I still haven't been to an Arsenal game, so I can't wait to check that off one day.
Good
But
job you didn't
yeah,
go to
Ryan.
this one.
I know. I know. How far? And pardon me for being so ignorant, but like, how
Coventry.
far?
Coventry's about 2 hours away from London.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Coventry's like centre of England.
Got it.
So
Got it. Got
like
it.
I'm next to Birmingham, which is the second city, and Birmingham's about a 2 hour car drive to London, or I can get to London on a train in an hour. So like
Got
when
it.
I go to MCM, I'm going on the Friday afternoon, so I will literally get the train at 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Coventry, and I'll be in London by 2 p.m. And then it'll take me a little bit longer to get on the tubes to the XL Centre,
Got it.
but it's not a crazy journey. But the people in the UK have such a different perspective on traveling than the US. Like you guys will get in a car and drive for 10 hours like it's nothing. If I have to drive two
Yeah.
hours, I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. Don't know about that. So yeah, so it's not far from your perspective, but for us lazy Brits, it's like, oh, don't know about that. So yeah, the prototype again. If it successfully funds, I'm hoping Ryan will be encouraged to bring it. Right?
I think there's a high chance if it funds, you'll be able to see the prototype in its glory, man. Like
I hope so.
again, I can't emphasize enough, but the texturing on the gloves, on the strap, just on the bodysuit, it's really amazing. Like not to toot our own horn, but like I really want to shout out to the greater team, it's White and the design team for making that happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really wish you guys could back it, and so that you guys could see it too. You know.
I hope I see it next weekend, a week away. Northern Nomad says it's Dan Hu Yung squared. There we go. Thank you very much, Northern Nomad. Underneath that, we get Figure Cave Collectibles, which is my friend Adam Batman Moran. Batman is his real legal name as well, by the way. So he says, I think Giant Man will fund, and for 199 is a great offer. The base offering alone is worth the price. Also, tell Ryan I said hello. So Ryan popped in
Whoa.
for Legends and Liquor one afternoon when he was at the
Yeah,
Disney
yeah,
thing. And
yeah.
Adam was in the call with him, so I just kept
Oh,
saying that. Oh, is that your new friend? So it's funny. It's our inside joke. The figure collector, he says, will we ever get a new Black Cat in the future? So we've got a couple of Black Cats actually. We got one in the Ultimate Green Goblin Wave 2014. Then we got the retro carded version not too long ago, and we've also had like the modernized version as well
yeah,
in a
yeah,
Builder Figure Wave. So we've had a few. So
yeah.
she's on your radar easily. Maybe another in the
I,
future. Maybe.
I really like Felicia from the animated
Is that a
series
hint,
too.
Dan?
So
Don't
no, no.
tease
I
me,
mean, I
Dan.
don't know. I don't
Don't
know.
tease me. Don't. I would take a civilian Felicia. I would take a Black Cat Felicia. Like, so just on that, and again, I'm not trying to dig for anything here, but I think
Yep.
Ryan did confirm during some of the New York.
Oh my God. Okay, no, 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 nothing happened. He almost
Okay.
scored. He
Ryan,
almost scored.
Ryan, I just think whenever I'm trying to dig, you're like, just quickly jump to the football to escape. So Ryan did confirm in some of the New York interviews that the VHS boxes would be continuing and the
Yeah.
Spider-Man theme would be continuing in 2024. Is that correct?
Yeah. So yeah. I believe he did confirm it. So yeah. So
He
we
did,
will
honestly.
be.
I'm not setting you up. He
Yeah.
did confirm it.
Or no, no, no. We are definitely doing the Spider-Man animated VHS 2 packs still. And I just want to really clarify too, and I think he already mentioned it in previous interviews too, but there has been a lot of speculation of trying to complete the VHS for the X-Men, the single ones, and just with the timing, X-Men 97 is the priority when it comes to that, right? So in
Because that's
order
the current
to,
media, isn't it? That's what's in the
yeah,
zeitgeist now. Yeah.
yeah, so that's why we had to take a pause because honestly, before we even knew X-Men 97 was happening, that's when we already started development. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there's a high chance that if we knew X-Men 97 was going to happen,
You
like
probably wouldn't have done X-Men
yeah,
VHSs.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So with that, the silver lining is like we get to continue some of the characters that I love personally a lot for the Spider-Man VHS stuff. I know you're always and
Mate.
I'm conflicted too because I love the blister card, right? And I love the retro card. And I know
I'm happy. Don't get me wrong. Peter Parker, right, is one of
uh,
my favorite action figures. Full stop. Period. Because that's an embodiment of why I collect toys. It is that nostalgic, that plastic representation of the thing that I loved. Do you know, like, and that Peter Parker that
yeah,
recently came out in the 2-pack with Strife is a beautiful figure.
yeah.
And I'm happy it exists. Don't get me wrong. But like for me, just selfishly, just speaking for myself, it would have been great on a retro card. That's all I'm saying. Do you know what I
So
mean?
like so how many years do you think we need to wait until we do that? Like if
You could give
we
us Peter Parker right now on the retro card in his polo suit. Do you know? Because I'm sure that was a
I
conversation you
know.
guys
Yeah.
had. Like, do you have the salmon shirt or do you go for the polo shirt, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sort of green and striped one?
If you actually look at the episodes though, I believe he is in more of the salmon
Yeah, that's what I
shirt
said. If
mode.
you watch my
Yeah, yeah.
review, I said that I was on your
Yeah,
side. I was
yeah,
saying like that's my mind's eye. Like, I don't get me wrong, the other one is familiar as well, but I do think the
no.
salmon shirt is worn more. But that other one is still like it's still in people's mind's eyes as well. So again, like I think, and that Peter Parker head sculpt was so good. Get that out there again, because if I remember correctly, the VHS sets are usually a Pulse exclusive shared with Disney, so they're not
Yeah,
like mass everywhere. So
yeah.
maybe another opportunity to get that Peter Parker out there to the masses, I think would be great. And it just confirmed to people as well that just because we're getting Spider-Man VHSs into 2024 doesn't mean we won't get any more Spider-Man retro, because you've been teasing me, Dan, on Twitter. You've been teasing me every time there's a Spider-Man retro picture. You just drop in with a GIF, and I'm like, you're just teasing me now. Like, so are more again, this isn't confirming anything, but are more Spider-Man retro cards coming? You don't have to say when or who, but
I'm just saying we're losing 2-0.
see,
And
that's
this
a
is
yes for me.
like
That's a yes.
oh,
That's I
oh,
translate that into a yes. Okay. And let me just show you this image as well, by the way, because one of the most frustrating things as a collector, and like as a collector who's been on the Legends game for years, I completely understand that you have to constantly get out the most popular characters again to try and entice the new collectors and the new people. Like, I completely understand,
yeah.
but keep us in mind, like, let's complete a team in one format, please. Okay, look at this
I've seen
graphic
this.
right here. Shout out! I didn't make this graphic. I can't remember who
Yep.
sent it me, but whoever sent it me, thank you very much. But this graphic alone highlights the gaps, and my like, I don't want to say OCD, but my OCD in like, just give us a team, the Jim Lee era team, in one format, please. Okay, you're very close, very close. Just print out this graphic. I'll send it. Yeah, print it out and just put it up in your offices or whatever it needs to be. Let's
just print it out, mail it to Dwight in Rhode Island, and
yeah.
I'm sure he'll be like, "What is this? I don't know what this
Yeah,
is."
yeah,
And, you know,
it's just so close. Look at that, just so very frustrating. So, but you have confirmed more more X-Men
Spider-Man.
97.
Yeah. No, we have not confirmed that,
You
but
did. You said at MCM
no,
Comic
I'm
Con.
kidding.
You've
I'm
definitely
kidding.
not
Yeah,
MCM at New York. You definitely
yeah,
said
yeah, yeah.
expect more 27.
Yeah. I think X-Men 97 is
97.
going to
I keep
be
saying 27,
yeah.
97. You know what I mean?
No. So we're definitely going to have a couple of more X-Men 97 stuff and more Spider-Man VHS stuff, you know. What and I know you guys already did a live stream about this too, but
Yeah.
like which one from the Spider-Man series is like your top? Is it like Chameleon or is it like who's like
Right now it's Chameleon. Now I've got Peter Parker and I've got MJ and even Aunt May, which was a great treat, by the way. I love that we've got that sort of that trio of civilians. Again, I take Felicia though as well. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I think Chameleon now to compete, because on the actual animated show they never called them the Sinister Six. It was like the Insidious
Insidious
Six.
Six? Yeah.
So like, we just need all those main characters, and I think Chameleon's look on the animated show is a little bit different to how he appears in the comics, so it's a bit more unique, so it sort of has to be associated with a VHS or retro. Now, I know you've obviously, you already know what the VHSs are going to be next year, so I won't try on that, but he would look beautiful on a retro card. Just that would be my preference. Chameleon on a retro card, but as long as Chameleon happens in some format, I think the collectors will be happy.
Okay.
Because I'm a mint and box guy when it comes to the retro stuff. I'm an idiot. I buy one of each. But a majority of people out there are not an idiot like me. They just like to add the characters to their collection. So as long as he gets out there in some format, I think Chameleon would be widely appreciated from the community. That's what I'm just saying.
I will warn people, and this is some inside baseball, so I mean, you guys will get the scoop first, but in the Spider-Man VHS stuff, some of the characters that we're going to be putting into might not make sense episodically. So we are aware of that when we make some of the decisions for next year. I just want to give you a hint there.
So episodically, so there'd be characters paired up that ain't necessarily in the same episode together, essentially. Yeah. But can you confirm that everybody on the VHS cards are 100% in the animated show?
Like, you mean in the 2-packs?
In the 2-packs, yeah.
Yeah, they'll be in the animated show. Yeah.
Because on the retro card, you've gave us plenty of characters that ain't necessarily in the show. Do you know, like we've got Spider-Clone. But when it comes to the VHS, you're going to keep it canon. If they're in the VHS box, they 100% appeared on the show.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, interesting. So the characters.
I know the OCD is gonna hurt you there, but
again, for me, I open the VHSs. I keep them displayed on the back, but like I don't feel obligated to buy two because it's in the plastic-free boxes, which thank God are gone, by the way. But you don't have to comment on that. I display them behind. So as long as the figure is a character that I want, I'll be happy. But let's go back to some of these super chats again. Thank you very much for the people dropping in some questions. The figure collector, we ever get the Black Cat, we spoke that. Doom Customs with the $50 super chat. Doom Customs keeps the lights on in the Dan Who household. Thank you very much, Doom Customs, you absolute legend. He says, I backed this right away. Many figures line sell out alternative head sculpts. Do you ever think Hasbro doing that? Maybe even an unmasked Giant Man. So many figure lines sell only alternative head sculpts. So I guess this is like a question that Ryan gets quite a lot about accessory packs and stuff like that. I'm sure this is something you should discussed heavily. It's just
my God.
I've got a corner on my
No. No, you had to break away. Your boy Raheem gave me a heart attack. Then
he's in form. He's on form.
To answer the question, this is the question that I think Boog asks us all the time too. Essentially, which is not exactly the same as the question.
It's the same sort of ballpark,
but like
accessories and unmasked heads and stuff.
Yeah, so I think again, every decision to bring something out is a business decision, right? And there's always a reason why we can or cannot do. I know from a collector's point of view, it would make total sense. I will say though that the amount of people that army build or we think would just buy the accessories for themselves, I don't think is as high as everybody say they will.
It's because the community is in a bubble. No, I completely get it. Yeah. We talk about this all the time where we think everybody loves Marvel Legends and knows everything. But if I walk out my front door, I could bump into 1,000 people and I'd be lucky if one of them know what Marvel Legends are. Do you know, like
exactly.
We're just in a bubble. So we always everything is always exaggerated in our world. So it's like you speak to 3 people in this community out of 5 that want accessory packs. You think, there's loads of people. But the reality is it's still a small portion of even a smaller niche. So I get that. I do get it. But they would be great, is all I'm saying.
And I just really want to emphasize what you just hit on, right? Like, I do think our goal as marketers is to make the brand become bigger so that people, that number that you just mentioned about like 1 out of 11 or whatever, like they won't know what Marvel Legends is. Like, our goal is to do that. But in order to do that, that does mean that we need to put out like A+ characters again that you guys might have already collected. And so I understand the frustration sometimes when you see something like the Infinity Saga wave that we announced like a couple months ago, right? But like, I think I really want to stress sometimes that like not every release that we announce or reveal is geared towards you. And the strategy needs to be a balanced approach again, right? Where we need to put out stuff that not just talks to adults, but talks to a younger generation of kids too, from a Legends perspective, right? And yeah, so just just keep that in mind, especially when we go into 2024, that like we are kind of trying to grow the community to make casual, like just Marvel fans, become toy collectors too.
Yeah.
So that's always an approach and consideration that I hope the community can see. And because it's so easy, like from all the content creators to just look at every release that we give. And we try, specifically Ryan and myself, we try to give you guys something every week, like to talk about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For someone who does live streams weekly, I appreciate that, by the way.
So like, but the thing is, like, if you just, oh my fucking god, like, if you just look at every reveal that we do, not every item is going to be for the hardcore collector. That is like the foundation. You know what I mean? So I hope people can understand that, and they don't try to kill us for trying to also bring in new collectors or younger collectors or anything like that. You know what I mean?
I completely get it. And don't get me wrong, like selfishly, just in my own bubble, of course I'm going to be like, I want every figure you release moving forward to be a character I don't have already to add to my collection. Like, but the reality is I want this line to do well. Like it's so why wouldn't I want it to be accessible and get more people on board? Do you know what I mean? Otherwise it will just fizzle out and disappear. Like you want to consistently get new people on board, and we've spoke about this already. Like Avengers, the actual movie, and the MCU in itself is this new generation's jumping on point for Marvel. Like so you need to keep that type of stuff accessible and keep the popular characters out again, because everyone starts with one figure. Do you know what I mean? Everybody starts with that one figure. So that one re-release for a re-release for me, but that could have been someone's first figure that then gets them on board and keeps the line strong. So again, I see both sides of the party. Like as a collector, it's collected for years. Like my initial reaction is, of course, I know a repaint, I don't need that. But if you update the head or something like that, I can always be persuaded maybe. But yeah, I understand that you need to get new collectors on. But selfishly, I'd be like, yeah, new characters every time, please.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah,
like I would love like a bunch of AOA characters every single like.
Well, that leads us into our next question. You can the question asked by Air Extreme. Shout out Air Extreme. He says, "Dan, will we be getting an AOA Wave 3? If it was up to Dan Yoon, we would. That's for sure."
Yeah, we would be up to like Wave 5, I think, by now. But no, but I don't want to say we're gonna get a Wave 3, if I'm being honest. I think AOA is sort of a niche type of thing. You know what I mean? And
he's meant to be coming back in the comics, though, I think.
It is.
Yeah, so I'm sure Jesse Falcon may be on the phone going, do you know what, Dan? Floodgates are open again. You never know.
Yeah, no, Jesse's a big... honestly, it's not because of me, but Jesse also kind of likes AOA as much as I do. Maybe I like it a little bit more, but Jesse, shout out to Jesse. He's always... he's the godfather for Marvel Legends. So
if you've been collecting since the Toy Biz days, it's a name you will absolutely recognise for sure.
Exactly.
Dom says, really enjoying you coming on, Dan. Although you made me listen to football, which is against my beliefs.
I'm sorry.
Don't forget the MLF and Dark Riders.
Okay.
MLF and Dark Riders. So add them to your list, Dan. But yeah, again, I did try and warn people that we'd be talking football. But if I'd put that as the thumbnail, Dan, it would have just been you and me here. So I had to sort of clickbait into people coming in. But Chelsea are still winning 2-0. Just to remind Dan again once again.
My lady did text me to wrap it up soon, so maybe 10 more minutes, and maybe we focus more on the toys because my team is already losing anyway. So it don't really matter.
We've finished these super chats that people have brought in. A few more questions. Okay. So Stephen Shank says, Dan Yoon, thanks for doing Starjammers, loving Crosshair and Chode.
Yeah, no, I know Starjammers is a niche, but not too niche. But yeah, I think Corsair came out good. I know there was the finger joint issue with shot a little bit.
The fingers were inaccurate. He didn't have the right amount of fingers. He didn't have enough sort of yellow on him. There are definitely some inconsistencies with the accuracy of the character design for sure, which were ultimately frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, but thank you for the comment and the super chat.
Rich would kill me, by the way, if I didn't shout Hepzibah at this point. So Hepzibah, I think Razor as well. So you must be aware though, like teams like Starjammers need Hepzibah, Razor. Even the original Guardians need Charlie 27 and Martin X. Like these have to be on some sort of list somewhere that you guys are aware of. You just got to find a place for them, right?
Yeah, so I'll be very, and maybe this is too transparent, but I'll be very transparent too, is that like we do start teams and depending on how they perform too, like it does give an indication of, you know, whether it will be made in the future or not too.
Makes
like
sense,
so
again, people forget it's a business, isn't it? So like if you put out a
yeah,
Hepzibah and like no one buys it, then it's very unlikely you'll get Razor to go with her. Do you know?
yeah, so like the biggest one that Jesse would want me to preach is like Crystar, for example, right? Like if Crystar ends up performing exceptionally well, there's a greater reason for us to like continue making more characters from, that universe.
Yeah,
You know what I
he's
mean?
got X-Men ties. He's a Summers. Do you know, like that's definitely some love there. Again,
So
Hepzibah, hairy women. I don't know why, but Rich loves the hairy women. You got Hepzibah, you got Feral, you got Wolfsbane. Like, come on,
yeah,
come on. A tiger is that hairy, lonely woman on the shelf. We need some more hairy women out there.
yeah. I think 2024 though there'll be at least two characters that I think people have been saying they
So
want.
two hairy women confirmed for 2024.
No, 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 no. I meant two characters that would be completing or
Teams.
not completing, but like adding on to teams.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay.
We like to reel you guys in for the long
don't we know
haul.
it?
So.
Don't we know? Me and Rich did a whole stream on just one character you need to release to complete a team. Literally, some teams are so close.
Yeah,
so close.
And we know, we definitely know.
Okay, okay, cool. Andrew Rankin says, any Tiny Wasp also shield clips update, alternative plastics, etc. So yeah, Tiny Wasp would be great. Do you know? Packed in, like you did that with the retro cards. You got a Tiny Ant-Man with the Wasp, a Tiny Wasp with Ant-Man. Please continue doing that. I think we, as collectors, love to just have that option for the display, to have the little smaller version. I always like it when you can display a character's ability accurately on the shelf. And obviously you can't do tiny, but the scale you can manage would accept it. So there's no, you haven't said how Wasp is getting released either, have you? Like you've said she's coming, but you've not said she's single packed.
We have not confirmed anything with Wasp other than showing her,
and you're not.
She looks great.
Anything now either, right?
No, I'm just confirming that my team is playing like shit. Like what the fuck right now,
15 minutes left. 15 minutes left.
Oh.
Underneath little piece of plastic. Oh, sorry. Go on.
I might never do this again if we fucking lose.
Mate,
this
I want to do this every week now. Every Chelsea game, let's schedule this in.
I know.
Little piece of plastic. We have two official retailers, but their prices are too high. They're all exclusives. But I'd love to have an interview with you sometime. So that was our Mexican friend, Little Pieces of Plastic. Thank you very much for the super chat. I always try and say, at least the option is there. At least the option is there. It shows that they're aware that there's a market and they're trying to get it out to you. But Little Piece of Plastic said they'd love to have an interview with you guys sometime. Psylocke
let's fucking go!
Oh,
Come on! Let's fucking go!
Give me a second. Psylocke, you can answer this while I watch this nonsense. Psylocke says, Ryan started that the tiers were already included in the base price, so why not add the tiers with the base price and not hold them hostage, 100% fund? I don't quite understand that. So Ryan said the base price, so why not add the tiers to the base price and not hold them hostage? I don't really understand that question.
I think what he's saying is another business model type of question. So it's like, why don't you
like a Kickstarter you can add on?
Yeah. And I'm not going to give reasons why or why not. It's just again, it's.
Did Royce score?
Yeah.
Royce is in my fantasy team as well. I'll take it. I'm on fire.
My God.
I'm on fire. I've got Saka, Royce, Palmer, and Sterling in my team for today.
He scored a beauty.
I would take it. As long as Chelsea win 2-0 or 2-1, I will take it.
No. I feel the momentum now.
Oh, that's a good goal, to be fair. Quick reactions, but we shouldn't have let that happen. Shouldn't have let that happen. Sorry, Psylocke, I interrupted your question there, but it's an interesting take.
No, it's. I understand the question, and my answer to you, Psylocke, is it's a business decision that goes beyond just myself, Ryan, and Dwight, and we definitely. I understand what you're asking, but I don't have an answer for you that will satisfy what you're saying.
I'm a
But
little bit.
fuck yeah,
I'm a little bit
didn't
worried.
I say?
You score late goals as well. You
I
score late
know.
goals. So like, there's still 13 minutes left plus extra time. And in the Premiership at the minute, have you seen how long extra time is? They're like adding
Yeah,
like
I
15
know.
minutes on at the end.
I love it though.
I,
Like I love it.
I do if we're losing, but not in this situation. Now I'm like, blow the whistle, ref. This guy 9947 says, pitching animated Spider-Man Ultimate Retro card. Again, there's so many animated shows that you've still yet to even touch in the Marvel Legends line. I'm sure you have a list of these. But so are you a fan of Spider-Man Ultimate, or are you aware of it?
Yeah, I am very aware of. I'm the one from the team that I think pitches the animated stuff the
Because you're our
most.
generation, though.
So
You're my age, ain't you? So you've grown up
yeah,
with this.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like, trust me, if you see anything animated like character, it's probably because I had to breakdance my way
We appreciate it.
into.
We appreciate it. Just keep practicing. You'll be able to join the USA Olympic team. It's super evil. Super Turk just constantly going to say he's like me with Hippo. Evil Turkish Spider-Man. Our Turkish friend Tanner
God.
wants evil Turkish Spider-Man, who is a canon character, by the way. He's been in the comics, so he should be fair game. Displayed once. I've heard of that guy. I think his name's Rich M. He says A-list characters coming back. New Jubilee in 2024. It's true. Jubilee is returning from the dead, which Rich is very happy about. So it means she's back on the table for a new release. So yeah, Rich with the Jubilee love.
Shout out to Rich. Shout out to Rich.
Legend in the game. He's coming to MCM this year, so Ryan will get to meet him. But yeah, sad times. He wasn't there last year, unfortunately. Ashaholic says, thanks for everything you do, Dan, for everything you do for the community. How about Anna Watson / Punisher VHS 2-pack? That'd be a deep cut. That'd be a deep cut.
That would be a deep cut. I do love the Punisher look in Punisher. Yeah, with the trench coat and everything like that.
Laser guns, because they weren't allowed to have actual guns.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I'm more aware of the game now.
I know.
I keep turning my head. There's a corner. I'm like, oh, that was a shit corner. Okay. Eric Stream gifted the channel membership. Much appreciated, Eric Stream. Thank you so much. Always showing some love to the channel. I see you. I appreciate you. Shout out Eric Stream. 1-6 shooter. I've heard of that guy. Takes a good picture or two. He says, classic Angel, please. Classic Angel, I'm sure, is worthy of a redo at this point. It's been a while since we've had Angel.
Does he want it in like
blue or red? That's got to be the option, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna let us know in the chat, blue or red, 1-6 shooter. But he's always saying classic Angel, and I agree. We do need a new one. Extreme again says, can we get more X-Men villains like Eric the Red? Again, there's so many deep cut X-Men villains. I'm all for it, by the way. I love the villains 5-pack you did, where it literally had, apart from Strife, who we already had, it had all brand new characters. Like, I'm all for it. Like, I love it when you can give us brand new characters in that type of format. So more of the same.
I think because we announced it like last year, like late last year.
MCM. We were at MCM when you reviewed
it. Yeah. But I think this year, technically they're this year's items, and I love that X-Men 60th program. I love the yellow and blue suits. I love Blob. Like Blob, if I could draft Blob in the top 5 draft at the end of the year, I think that's going to be a win for me.
Blob is going to take some beating, I think, for best figure of the year. He's a epic figure for just like character, the execution of such an awkward character design into plastic, and aesthetically fits beautifully into the collection. Like, it's such a upgrade to I only saw after Build-A-Figure as well. Like, the Build-A-Figure was still a pretty penny on the aftermarket. So I really like the figure.
As a gift, I bought the old school Blob for Ryan for one of his birthdays, and man, it cost a pretty penny. So I was like, we gotta make a new Blob. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks like a melted potato. It's not endangered when you see the sort of aesthetic of the modern era. Yeah, like the multiple chins, literally a melted blob. And then Doom Customs once again for another $50 super chat. Again, I told you this man keeps the lights on. Thank you so much, Doom Customs. He said, Dan who rock, Mr. Yoon, you need to come back more often. Lastly, do we need some new effects? So who makes those decisions on effects? Like I'm sure you and Ryan are sort of involved in the character selection, but a bigger team is also involved with that. When it comes to stuff like accessories and effect pieces, is it people like Dwight and the wider team that just are sort of given free reign to sort of create new pieces, or are you and Ryan involved in those type of things too?
Yeah, we're not as involved when it comes to accessories. I think we're involved in like the rap battles for characters in general,
Yeah.
but then I mean Dwight obviously is like the head designer and like the greater team that works with Dwight, they're the ones that, you know, like can make those decisions. Sometimes when we have an idea,
You give them
like for
notes. You'll give them
instance,
some notes or something.
yeah, like we'll like for instance, like when we see something from the community that we think you guys really want, and that's where my job really to lurk is like really important, I guess, is because like I'll be like, listen, the community wants X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? Can we make that? Fuck yes!
Oh,
Let's
that's
fucking
not
go!
what I wanted to see. I don't. It's not even happened on my
Fuck
screen
yes!
yet. Oh, fuck's sake!
Let's go!
What did I say? I literally just said they're late goals, didn't I?
Fuck yes!
Now my mood's going to change. Fuck's sake. It hasn't happened on my screen yet. Okay, I'm watching now. Is it Nketiah? No, clearance. I'll give it a sec. Hang on, I'm just commentating. Oh, it's not Havertz, is it? Oh, fucking hell. I thought it was Havertz. He had the ball then. It's come back to haunt Chelsea. Who is it? Oh, it's Trossard. Trossard, the bastard. No,
Trossard.
not a fan. Shit. Okay, now it's 2-2. It was Chelsea were winning 2-0 and they threw it away at Stamford Bridge. I told them at half-time, Dan, to park the bus. You heard me say it. They weren't listening. And Arsenal have done what they do and score late. And it's now 2-2. And there's still time left. Now I'm worried. Now
still
I'm worried.
time.
Now
still
I'm worried.
time.
Can I throw out an accessory suggestion then?
Yeah,
We've
sure.
got a load of Spider-Mans. Right?
Yep.
I want to have an unmasked Spider-Man front and center on my shelf holding his mask. I want a sort of crumpled up mask holding Spider-Man accessory.
Yeah, I think Boog has been asking for that same thing. Come on, Eddie. Oh my!
I don't like this reactions. I'm still watching replays of the Trossard goal. Don't like it.
Oh my God, Eddie.
They've took Sterling off as well, and Palmer. So yeah, Reece is on now. Jackson's up top. I'm trying to think who's on for Chelsea.
Oh my God, we were so close right there. That's the problem. I love Eddie too. Like I feel like Eddie and Gabriel Jesus are the same. They have great work weight and they go in and out when they do the dirty stuff, but they can't be clinical, man. Like, you know what I mean?
They haven't really been given the opportunity to play together because you've got such good wide men like Saka and Martinelli. You don't really get that sort of standard 4-4-2 with Arsenal.
Yeah.
Because they sometimes put Jesus. He used to play on the wing at Man City.
But
like he's better in the centre. Yeah, he did nearly score. Okay, now I'm concerned.
I thought that was it.
No, by the way, I'm watching the game right there, people. So the game is right next to me, but I don't want Sky Sports to shoot me down.
I'm sorry. I'm just like I'm looking down at my phone, so I apologize.
For anyone late in, this is me and Dan on a Saturday afternoon, basically doing a Chelsea versus Arsenal watch along, just chatting about toys as we go. It's the current score is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. I'm a Chelsea fan. Dan's an Arsenal fan. He's very happy because at one point it was 2-0 to Chelsea, but Arsenal have brought it back. So it's anyone's game at this point, and I'm a little bit concerned that the sort of momentum is swung in Arsenal's favour. So only a few minutes left. Go on.
I'll be honest. I think we deserve a tie. Like I'll be, as much as I want to win. Like I think because we played like fucking garbage in the first, like
that's what it's Chelsea though.
You deserve a point. You deserve a point.
That Reece goal, that Rice goal, sorry, shouldn't have happened. That was a sloppy goal.
That was sloppy.
So and that has now swung the momentum, and it's like those type of mistakes that Chelsea make far too many of at the minute. They just need to be.
Fuck.
I don't like it.
I'm
reading super chats. Pokey says, Mr. Yoon, if you could work on Marvel crossover with any other property, what would be your choice? DC, Master of the Universe, G.I. Joe, etc. That'd be a cooler crossover. I know there's loads of I know you've done some of the Street Fighter crossovers and stuff like that. Are you a Turtles fan? Like I love Turtles myself. I don't know how that would cross over like, but
I'll be honest. Like I thought I was a Turtles fan, but then I realized like I'm not a Turtles fan compared to like. Have
you not seen my beautiful shelf here? Look at the Toon stuff.
Yeah,
you clearly never watched the Toon show. Look at that.
Oh yeah, no. But like, I think you're like Ryan, where like if Ryan, if he sees all four, like it doesn't matter what brand it is, he'll just like take
Yeah.
them.
Well,
Like as
you
long
can't
as
leave the
all four.
brothers on the shelf. You can't leave a brother alone.
So like, but what's your favorite turtle again? I forgot. You're a Donatello fan,
Of
right?
course,
You're a
there's only
Donnie
one
fan, right?
emoji. There's only one emoji
No,
on the Dan
no,
Who
no,
Network, and it is
no, no,
Donatello.
no, no,
You're a
no,
Raph
no.
guy. You've got a Raph guy?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
thought so.
definitely.
I thought so.
That's the only right answer. But either way, um, the crossovers. Does it have to be Marvel
No, anything.
related
Just
crossover?
again, just daydreaming at this point. What other? Apart from Marvel, obviously we know you like Marvel. What other like franchises do you actually like and nostalgic to, or anything like that? Just name a couple.
I really love the Batman Beyond series.
Yeah.
So if we could do that, that would be dope. I really love Naruto. That was something that was a connection point for me and my younger brother, who's like almost 10 years younger than me. So I
Yeah.
needed like something to nerd out with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and that property is super special to me for that reason. Um, I don't know if you know Samurai Champloo, but that
No, I've not heard of it.
is it's like a small anime like miniseries that includes hip hop
Oh,
and
okay.
so like I really love that. Like anything hip hop related and like samurai play, like that kind of stuff is what draws me. But I mean, there's so many great properties out there. Like I'll be honest with you, like I really wanted to pitch the Pulse like Captain Planet
Ah,
like
here's our hero.
like
Gonna take
yeah,
pollution
yeah.
down to zero.
Like so
Why
like
has
for
that not happened yet? Why has no one grabbed Captain Planet?
so for me like anything like because like the cartoons like when we were kids like anything there would really draw me.
Yeah.
Like hey Arnold, like Doug, like all them stuff too. Oh come on. But like honestly man, like I really wish I could have been on some sort of thing for starting lineup when they did soccer because I would have loved to make like these type of action figures, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like create like legit like for Sky Sports we would have like instead of like fucking circles with names, you could have like the action figure, in the
Yeah.
lineup, you know what
That'd
I
be
mean?
sick.
That would have been
I'd put
dope.
like as a collector, as an action figure collector, like I think in my head I'm thinking, no, I don't need footballers as figures, but if they made them, you're guaranteed I'm gonna
Yeah,
buy them,
yeah,
especially if it's like
yeah.
legends like that, like you just iconic names. I think we've got one more super chat here from Mr. Cheeseburger. What a great name. He says, F the hater, thank you, Dan, Ryan, and Dwight. Great job. Thank you very much, Mr. Cheeseburger.
Uh, Thank you, Mr. Cheeseburger.
What a great name. Just to answer that question of crossovers as well, I've been saying for forever, I'd love DC to have an equivalent of Marvel Legends, in that same scale, the same aesthetic. Hasn't really been one yet on par with Legends, but I would love a sort of Marvel Legends aesthetic 6-inch equivalent for the DC world as well.
I mean,
I spend a
if
lot of money on Mafexes to try and scratch that itch, essentially.
honestly, I love my Mafex Nightwing. That figure is one of my
Yeah.
favorite figures. I love that figure, man. And I love Nightwing in general, so like that figure was amazing. But yeah, DC would be cool, but I honestly think like if we had DC, it wouldn't be good for like I don't like monopolizing properties either, to be honest.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
tell
so
my
yeah, no, I get what
you
you're
know what I
saying. I
mean?
get what you're saying. It's like the same with like movies or anything like that. It's like if all the studios
Yeah,
owned everything, you'd get less
yeah,
product of the stuff you love because they can't do everything at once or they can't put
yeah.
their best at work into all of them equally. Like so, yeah, competition's healthy. But DC and Marvel will forever be like versus each other until the end of time. It's just synonymous. So that was it from Super Chats. But I myself just have a couple of questions to see us out, if that's okay. Nothing
Yeah.
crazy. More so just sort of setting the bar, I guess, for this coming week. Because this coming week we should actually have quite a few reveals. Well, a nice handful of reveals in the Legends world. So I know on this week we've got 10:27. Let me close these chats here. So 10:27, which is
Yep.
Friday.
Yep.
So again, it's no spoilers in saying that you guys will be a feature of part of that stream, maybe revealing a couple of Marvel Legends.
Yeah, I mean, I think I already tweeted about it, but I think the focus should be Giant Man number one, right?
Yeah.
But I hear you, and yeah, uh, me and Ryan are kind of in charge of like when things get revealed and pre-ordered and stuff like that, right? And that's sort of like my baby. So if everything goes right and nothing has changed last minute, which happens, to be
Of
honest with
course,
you,
yeah.
it's like things change. But if all things line up, I think you'll be. I don't know. I think you'll be happy
Okay.
with at least a little something.
This
You know,
time,
no.
this I'm turning my head to watch. Extra time is 7 minutes, by the way. So and there's
I
already
think
three
there
minutes
should have been
played.
more. There should have been more.
So it's still 2-0. Still 2-0. A draw. I'd take a draw
Uh,
right now if it was offered to me.
I take a draw too.
Um,
I thought we were gonna. Oh my God.
yeah, they're playing around the back at the minute. Reece James has the ball for me. Back to the keeper. So
So
yeah. So this time
I
last year, you started revealing the VHS Spider-Man. Just so I'm just curious. Are you gonna follow this
I will
pattern?
say like you should think of 1027 as day one and
Yep.
then MCM as day two.
Well, that's exactly what I wanted to lead into
Yeah.
because mainly because the US guys may not know. Because let's be honest, MCM
Yeah.
London is a lot smaller scale than Comic Con or New York Comic Con. But this is the big Comic Con for London. It is MCM Comic Con. This is the biggest sort of comic, film, TV, pop culture convention that happens in London, and it's happening this weekend. And for the last couple of years, and Dan's reaction, oh, what's going on?
Oh,
Oh, shit. And for the last couple of years, Hasbro have had a great presence there. They've had a panel, not just revealing Marvel, Star Wars, Transformers, all of that good stuff, G.I. Joe. So this year is no exception. Hasbro have announced there will be a panel at MCM Comic Con in London this coming Saturday. So that means hopefully reveals from all the different Hasbro brands. Ryan Ting is actually going to be in London. Fingers crossed he brings Giant Man with him if that is a successful campaign. But there will be a panel. I will be there meeting anyone from the community that is also there. Rich will be there amongst other familiar faces from Legends and Liquor and whatnot. So yeah, this Saturday. So like you said, we have 1027. Or in the UK, we call it 2710. But we have 2710.
I never thought about it that way, but that makes sense.
Yeah, 2710. And then on the Saturday, it will be. So are we? Like you said, we're comfortable saying that there's going to be separate reveals on both. It's not like MCM is just going to recap the reveals from this Friday. There will be unique reveals exclusive for MCM.
Yeah, and but just to set the record straight too, like even in the past, we haven't revealed a lot at
Yeah.
MCM2 historically, right? It's only been
I think last year
one
you
or
did. Last year you did okay. Last year you had like 5 unique reveals, I think.
okay. Well, I don't think it'll be five. If I'm
Okay.
being real with you, if I'm
I
being
think
real
three
with
of
you.
them were in the same villains pack. To be fair, I think it was like
Okay.
Zero and stuff. So I think
Okay. Okay.
Ultimate Captain America, the Extremist Iron Man,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Killmonger, stuff like that got revealed. I think.
Yeah. 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 So yeah, I would not expect a lot of new at both of these,
Yeah,
but
a
I
little
would
bit.
say
A little
a
bit.
little bit,
A little
a
bit of
little
new.
bit.
Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that. A little bit of new. Again, for me, MCM is genuinely more of an opportunity for me to meet, and I'm sure it's the same for you guys when you go to these conventions. It's actually to meet and link up with people in the community that you speak to regularly online that you never really have another
100%.
opportunity to see. So, I'll be going regardless of revealing toys or not. But it's nice to know that I'm there. There's going to be some new Marvel Legends revealed. So hopefully Ryan brings a few treats to put out on the display. So yeah, MCM. So we have 2710 and then MCM London. So that's this weekend. So literally Friday and Saturday we are going to see Marvel Legends reveals. So I'm very happy about that.
And if you look back this year, you know, we've tried to be very consistent, like in like giving you guys pulses of stuff.
Yeah.
I will say after 1028 though, probably that's gonna shrink down, right? Like November probably is gonna be. Oh, they just blew the whistle. Oh,
Okay,
okay.
okay, there we go, people. The final score:
Oh,
Chelsea versus Arsenal.
oh.
We lasted the 90 minutes here, people. Chelsea versus Arsenal. It's 2-2. And I'm a little bit sad about that because Chelsea were up 2-0. But Arsenal do what Arsenal do at the minute, and that's nick a few goals. And they did exactly that. Rice and Trossard came back after Mudryk and I think it was Palmer scored a penalty early on in the game. So 2-2. I think I'm going to say after
That's
the momentum swing, I will take that. I'm happy with that, especially in Chelsea's current form. But that was an opportunity for you guys to go top of the table above Tottenham. So I'm sure
yeah.
you'd be a little bit frustrated with that.
I mean, I told you, man. I thought this was going to be a trap game. So I honestly thought we were going to lose. And so to see that we got even a point, yeah, I'm pretty satisfied. But maybe this is an indication of like Giant Man, it's we're coming back, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully we don't just get the tie, but hopefully we get the W, you know what I mean?
Well, again, this is common knowledge. HasLabs and crowdfunding campaigns in general usually do their biggest numbers the first day and the last day. So there's still time, of course, but that final 24 hours is going to be, I'm going to be the same as you, Dan. I'm going to be refreshing it because, again, just as a Marvel fan, forget about the politics and all of that. Just as a Marvel fan, I would love the opportunity to add a more accurate, in scale-ish Giant Man to my collection. Again, he's an OG Avenger. I think he's integral to a display. And to be fair, the Build-A-Figure that's still desirable to this day, like, it goes for virtually the same price on the aftermarket. So, like, for me, it's like a no-brainer at this point. But there he is compared to the old Build-A-Figure. So Legends have come a long way. The aesthetic has definitely improved. I always have that comparison in my brain. I think all my Toy Biz figures are now gone. I don't think there's any Toy Biz figures that remain. I think I keep Beast on display for sentimental value, but other than that, I think the new Hasbro aesthetic is sort of more modernized, and I think this Giant Man will fit beautifully in there. But again, I'm just speaking for myself. Everyone can make their own decision, of course you can, but if you do want to support this project, then remember you can back it, and it doesn't charge you until it funds. So you're basically backing risk-free right now, and it charges you when it funds. So if you want it, don't sit on the fence. Again, if you want it, then you don't have to wait, is what I'm saying. You can just jump in now, and then what will be, will be. But fingers crossed for me anyway that it happens. And again, what I'm seeing from the community is genuinely positive. Like, again, the crowdfunding topic is a different conversation, but just talking about Giant Man on his own, and it looks like a great product, a great figure, great character. So I'm very happy with it. So good luck, Dan. Good luck to the Hasbro team. I'll be watching for those 24 hours. And thank you for coming to join me for the Chelsea versus Arsenal toy talk. I liked it.
Yeah, no, I mean, thank you for those who don't even follow soccer or football for enduring us. Yeah. But no, man, and Dan, to you, to Rich, you guys are doing great work, and I really want to stress and thank everybody else within the toy community, whether you back this or not. Like, the toy community, I hope, continues to be respectful and continues to be cool with each other. You know what I mean? Again, like, there's nothing against critiquing whatever. Agreed. But hopefully nothing should ever get personal or just like purely disrespectful. You know what I mean? And
I'm with you. Trust me, this is meant to be fun. It's toys at the end of the day, like we keep saying, and it's okay to not like something. Like, it's okay. Yeah. Like, me and Rich don't agree with everything, and we can still be friends. Like, it's okay to not have the exact same thoughts and feelings and opinions. It's about just being adults, being civil at the end of the day. So
yeah, 100%. But yo, man, I'm sorry I took a point or a couple points from you.
Do you know what? I'd say that's us taking points from you. I genuinely do it. Yeah, in Chelsea's current situation, if you won, you would have went top of the table.
Yeah,
so I genuinely feel like that's Chelsea taking points from you.
So yeah, maybe.
I apologize to you.
Yeah, but next year we gotta figure it out. Are they gonna play again this year? I feel like this was their first game.
Yes, the first game. Yeah, they'll play again this year. And it will be at the Emirates.
Yeah. All right, let's do it again then, man.
Yeah,
for real.
Let's game. We'll figure it out. But pleasure. Thank you very much, Dan. I'm gonna jump to my end screen. Any final words?
No, I just want to say back HasLab Giant Man if you can or if you want to, and thank you so much to the Marvel Legends community, and thanks, Dan, for having me.
Of course, always welcome.
Let's go Giant Man.
I'm going to end the poll right now. 48% say they are backing it, but there is still 22% undecided. So if you're that 22% that's undecided, what are you waiting for? It looks great. All right, get involved. I'm going to jump to my end screen, Dan. Got 20 seconds. If you're watching on the replay, make sure you let me know in the comments. Are you backing Giant Man? Are you not backing Giant Man? Again, it's fine either way. You make that decision for yourself. But I, for one, would love it for it to happen. I've got a brand new collection room ready to go. I've got space for it.